Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Rugby Championship, and this game could just secure the Rugby Championship for one of these two sides. Argentina taking on the Springboks. All South Africa need is a draw, and they will be the champions for 2024. It is simple as that, but they have got a strong Argentine side in front of them, a team that has probably done better than a lot of people were anticipating for this Rugby Championship. Just looking through at the table, they have been able to pull off a win over New Zealand as well as Australia, so really starting their campaign on a high, and they would love nothing more than to get a big win over the Springboks here. But like I said, the Springboks, they have been on fire for this Rugby Championship, sitting 4 wins from 4 with that points differential of 54. So they are definitely one step closer after this game for the Rugby Championship. But looking through at these starting lineups for these two sides, we will start with the away side first, South Africa. They have made a lot of changes compared to what they had in their second match up against the All Blacks. It is Oxnard, Malcolm Marx, and Thomas du Toit as the front row. So the only man keeping his spot in the starting front row is Oxnard, and he is an absolute beast. We've seen another injury for Steven Kitshoff, Gerhard Stennekamp. We've also got Jan-Hendrik Wessels, but those are the type of guys who are trying to take that spot from Oxnard. He's not allowing it because he's been in sensational form. Malcolm Marx, he is currently sitting tied for second in terms of the overall leading try scorers in this competition. Thomas du Toit not given too many minutes as of late, but we'll be looking forward to the chance here. Salman Murat, he will be the captain for the Springboks, once again getting that captaincy as the number 4, and Ruan Nokia, he has won the most lineouts out of any player throughout the Rugby Championship. He will be there as the number 5. Mako van Staden takes on the 6th role in the absence of Sia Khaleesi. Even though Khaleesi did travel to Argentina, he will not be starting or coming off the bench in this match. Ben Jason Dixon at number 7, and Jasper Wiese as the number 8. Now, some thought Elric Lowe may get the nod at number 8 for this game, but instead they stick with Wiese, who has recently come back from a suspension and has looked just as strong as he did before he did get it. Kobus Reinach and Honore Pollard as the 19 combination. Now, some also thought that Mani Libok would get the starting minutes as the number 10. Instead, he will be making his way off the bench for this contest. Lukhanyoam in the midfield alongside Jesse Krill. Very formidable, just missing Damien Dialendi at 12, but Lukhanyoam, he can certainly slot into that role. Makazole Mapimpi out on the left wing, Kurtley Aronsa out on the right, and then Apalele Fasi there as the number 15. No Willie LaRue travelling to Argentina, which gives Apalele Fasi the chance to show exactly what he can do. He's great under the high ball. He had a lot of defenders beaten and running meters throughout the URC, which has started back up, so we will get to see some more from that man throughout that competition. But that is the starting lineup for the Springboks. Looking through at the Pumas, the home side, Thomas Gachot in the front row alongside Julian Montoya, who did join them for the second half of the Rugby Championship, and Joel Scalevi there at number 3. Franco Molina and Paulo Rubiolo in the locking duo. In fact, it is Pedro rather than Paulo, I should say. Pablo Matera at number 6. Marcos Crema, number 7. He is actually, or at least he was, at the start of this round, one of the leading tacklers in the competition. And Oviedo at number 8. He has had a really good start to his Rugby Championship. Juan Martin Gonzalez will instead be coming off the bench. And when you look at the form that that man has had throughout the last 12 months, it shows exactly how strong Oviedo has been. For Los Pumas, Gonzalo Burrano partnered with Thomas Albanoz in the 19 channel, I should say. Santiago Chocabarez and Lucio Cinti in the centers. Mateo Carreras Batista Del Gui and Juan Cruz Malea, who for me has been the best 15 in the whole competition. He has stats upon stats when we look through at the leading players for this comp, and I hope he has a good game here up against the Springboks. But in the chat, we have got a lot of messages, so I will try my best to read most of them. We have got there in the chat, come on the box, says Donald. Hi Hamish, what time is it there by you at the moment? It is 8:04 a.m. New Zealand time. So I should mention we are still a little way away from the start of this game, but we are looking through at stats, we're looking through at the lineups, and also what is to come for these two sides, which is just around the corner from November. There's going to be some big games, and hopefully They are extremely entertaining. Hi Hamish, long time no see. Glad your voice is holding up still. Says Bruce, good morning, good sir. Says Jed, welcome in mate. Hope you are keeping well. Where they playing? They are playing in Argentina for this game, which is why it is a little bit of a random hour for the kickoff for you guys in South Africa. Actually going to be an 11 p.m. kickoff, which is something I don't think you guys get too often. I can't think of too many other time zones that would actually be an 11 p.m. In fact, could argue that this is the worst time zone for a game to be watched in South Africa, but I know that there will be a lot of Springbok supporters staying up to watch this contest, eagerly awaiting the Rugby Championship to be taken back to South Africa, which it is very close to doing just that. Come on, the box, says the Bogo there. Do you think Argentina will get the victory? I think for Argentina to win this game, they are going to have to play an immense game of rugby, because South Africa, for me, are the safe bet. They are the side that have won all their games so far. They are also trying to close out their longest winning streak in Rugby Championship history. But Argentina, that second half up against Australia, really ignited a lot when it comes to Pumas supporters and realizing their side is very, very strong in broken play. But the Springboks don't allow broken play very often. So that is the thing that makes it so difficult. But that is the intrigue. That is the chess match that we're going to get between these two sides. The fact that it's going to be one of those games where any sort of mistake could lead to a counter-attacking try for either team. So it's going to be one of those games that could have us on the edge of our seats, just like that Currie Cup final where it just went back and forth all throughout, and then that last-minute point to determine who won. Hamish, you beauty, says Jan Fantondo. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are keeping well. And Argentina is so unpredictable, makes me nervous, says Sakabola. And I have a few interesting stats about the Argentines. Some of them good, some of them not so good, but one of them is any game that they've gone on and they've won by 50 plus points, their follow-up game, they won 4 out of the 6. A 66% likeliness we are going to see Argentina win their follow-up game. But the thing is, those follow-up games were not up against the world champions. They were up against, in most occasions, lower-ranked sides. South Africa trying to close out their longest Rugby Championship winning streak. Like I mentioned, it would be 6 games in a row, which it sounds crazy to say, but they have never done that. So this is a chance for them to make their own history here, which this side has continued to do so all throughout this modern era. Box need to focus, don't give away silly penalties, says Hillary, and Argentina is in trouble. Says Tabogo there. Hamish is an absolute machine, says Bill. Thank you very much, Bill. And there will be a lot of South Africans still drinking after that epic Currie Cup final. Yeah, that was certainly a game that I am very glad that I got to cover on the channel. We haven't done a huge amount of Currie Cup throughout the comp, but that is mainly because they don't show it here in New Zealand as often as they should. Good point, says Sakapula. And we have got there the box by 25, says Akio. And I'm also going to mention a little bit later on another interesting stat between Argentina and South Africa, including what type of margins the South Africans normally win by, but also something that was really intriguing, and that is the fact that Argentina actually start games up against the Springboks extremely well. They normally lead at halftime. The last time that the two sides played, Argentina had a 7-point lead at halftime to go on to lose that game by about 9. Hi again, Hamish, did you take a nap? I managed to get like maybe 30 minutes of sleep, which is probably, it's not bad for a weekend, to be honest. Normally we don't squeeze any sort of time in. What country watches your channel the most? I think it is South Africa, New Zealand, and then we also get quite a few from Fiji due to the 7 side of things, as well as Fiji rugby union matches. But yeah, I think New Zealand, South Africa are definitely my 2 biggest audiences that I've got. But overall, it's pretty awesome that we aren't just limited to one demographic in terms of around the world. We've got people from all different continents who tune in, and yeah, that's pretty cool, I do think. But looking through at these benches, ladies and gentlemen, Inacio Ruiz there as the number 16 for Argentina. They did have Julio Montoya in the starting lineup, like I mentioned, Calles and Delgado. Now that is where I'm a little bit concerned for Argentina. A couple men who aren't very well known. And it's the same with Garcia, Juan Martin Gonzalez. Of course, a lot of people know that man with Guido Petty as the number 19. But this is the type of game that, yes, those young players need to get game time because it's a great opportunity. You're playing a top-class side in South Africa. But you also are taking a huge risk by giving them the chance in this game. Now, something that worked for Fiji was Ponipati Loganamasi making his way off the bench. Anyone who didn't watch that game or don't know who that is, you'll be utterly confused by what I just said. But he came off the bench, he scored 2 tries, he made a name for himself in his debut. That's what these 3 men need to do. They need to make their way out there, win those scrum penalties, which is hard to do. But then saying that, South Africa statistically have the weakest scrum of the Rugby Championship, which I do not believe, because when you look at their front row and you look at the way they bulldoze over teams, you wonder how that is possible. But according to the stats, it is correct. But Santiago Carreras going to be making his way off the bench. He's gone from the starting 10 to now really that second choice. Thomas Albanoz playing some sensational rugby and doing enough to earn himself those starting minutes, which is great to see. Matthias Maroni there as well as the number 23. Jan-Hendrik Wessels, he is very versatile. He can play prop. He can also play hooker. In this case, I believe he will be used as the hooker replacement. Means that Grobelaar does not get the opportunity to play against Argentina. Gerhard Steenkamp and also Vincent Koch, the other 2 front row replacements. Eben Etzebeth. If this man plays in this contest, which he should theoretically, unless something drastic happens or there's some sort of injury, he will then tie Victor Matfield for the most capped Springbok of all time. And there's still 1 game left of the Rugby Championship. That one will be taking place next week in South Africa. So Eben Etzebeth, by playing in this game, he was probably asked by Rassie Erasmus. He would have been probably jockeying up whether or not it is worth playing in this game or whether it is time for Etzebeth to rest. But Etzebeth would have gone, if I play this game, I get my most capped Springboks experience in South Africa, which is going to be so much bigger than if it was for one of the November internationals. Just to list it very quickly, the next international that South Africa are playing would be up against the Scottish, and that is in Scotland. So to have a home crowd behind Eben Etzebeth for this massive milestone that he is about to bring up, I don't want to jinx him, of course. He still has to get through this game injury-free for that to become a reality. But I don't see them using him for too much more than a few minutes in this game, other than, of course, if Argentina are extremely competitive. Then we get a little bit more, maybe, game time for Eben Etzebeth. But Eldrick Lowe, a man who I believe does deserve a lot more game time. He is great in the stats department for the Rugby Championship. Started a couple games up against Australia, coming off the bench up against the All Blacks and really adding to the Springbok side. Quagga Smith, what more can you say about that man other than the best impact player, I believe, in world rugby today? The fact that anytime he makes his way off the bench, he either scores a try or gets a crucial breakdown turnover, which can completely shift the momentum of a game. Quagga's one of those guys you just want to have in your 23-man side, but a lot of the time you don't want him in your starting 15. You want him coming off that bench to change the game. Later on, Jaden Hendrickson there at number 22, someone else who some thought would be starting this game, and then Mani Lebok as the number 23. He's lacked game time, only 1 game of the Rugby Championship under his belt. That was up against the Australians, but he wants some redemption. People are still not quite convinced that Lebok is the best option. Definitely with Sasha now playing some brilliant rugby. Pollard's consistent. Can Mani Lebok show off his X factor here and possibly have a game-winning moment for the Springboks? It would do a world of confidence for that man. But looking through at the chat once again, who is the Bok captain for this game? It is Salman Murra who will be in charge of this team. We have got there this time around my box. May just fall short. Let's face it, Argentina is kicking. But at the minute, so have the Boks really prepped well enough, says Herman. To be honest, like, it's such a hard one to judge because Argentina is so unpredictable, like it's been said many times. They are one of those sides that go up and down in their form, and either they'll have a blinder here or they'll have an absolute shocker. And like I mentioned in my preview, there is a chance that either Argentina keep this game within 7 or they lose by 30 plus. Because that start up against Australia was definitely not what the Pumas want up against the Springboks. Because if you give the Springboks a 20-point lead, like they did up against the Wallabies, the Springboks aren't going to concede 60 or so points after that and then let you beat them by 40. They're not even going to try and concede 1 or 2 tries because their defence is normally pretty solid. So you have to start well if you're Argentina, and I honestly think the first 15 minutes of this game will determine the outcome straight off the bat. If Argentina are competitive, we're going to have a close game. if Argentina don't quite find their rhythm and South Africa strike early with 1 or 2 tries, looking at those guys like Kurtley Arendse, looking at Luke Kanyawam, Jesse Creel in the midfield, then this game could be one-sided. No one comes close to your commentary. You make me part of the game, says Rajin. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. Is the game going to be on this live video? Or says Zach, sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or audio would get us taken straight off YouTube. So sadly, we're unable to show the footage, but I can mention that there will be the highlights up after the game is finished. And also there are a few options for being able to watch this game. Not too many for free, sadly, just because of broadcaster. 17 consecutive wins under coach Nick Millett. Let me know when Rassi reaches that record, says Bruce. I wish we could see the top of a few Curry Cup sides play some of the NPC sides in a pre-season friendly. That would be pretty awesome. Hopefully one day they consider that. The fact that we are at the stage of a URC winner taking on a Super Rugby winner, that has slowly given us that Club World Cup type of vibe. And hopefully we get it again with some sort of competition like that. I feel like it would be pretty awesome to send a few NPC sides into South Africa, see how they go. Like, even if they were, like, that's the problem though. Everyone's locked into contracts, aren't they, in terms of Super Rugby teams, so they won't want their players getting injured. The URC is strenuous in terms of the amount of games that they play all throughout the season, so that would be hard on them. So it would almost have to be the best of the guys who aren't locked in to big contracts. But then I guess that doesn't give you a real representation of who's actually the better side. This is not even the full first lineup. It's our second choice, and we'll still beat them. Let's see, says Akio. And also we've got their showing the match too, or only commentating. We are just doing the commentary, sadly, because of licensing. Any match footage gets you taken straight off YouTube. Hi, Hamish. I watched the Curry Cup final, and what an ending to a final. That game gave me Pat Lambie vibes after 0-0 at halftime, full time, 14-16. What a final. Hope that kept me awake for this game, says Marnus. And yeah, it certainly kept me awake for a little while after that contest. It was phenomenal. Like, 0-0 at halftime seemed like it had been a little bit, I guess, lackluster, but I actually really, really enjoyed it. The fact that it was so close and the fact that it could have gone either way, and then down to the wire, all the Lions had to do was boot that ball into touch and they won that game. But they didn't. They thought that it was the safe option of just letting the Sharks take the rolling maul down, and then that's where the mistake happened. The Sharks got the ball and they're 59 metres out. Jaden Hendrickse managing to get it over. What are your thoughts on Salman Moura? I'll be honest, he's one of those guys that I have heard, in terms of our comment section as well as just live chats, anywhere that you look, he is the player that is criticised the most. People feel like he hasn't really got what it takes. It's a tricky one, because when you are being compared to someone like an Ebenezabeth, and now in this case up against someone like a Ruan Nokia, who is actually doing really well for a guy with a lack of caps, Salman Moura just finds himself slowly going down a lot of people's pecking order. I think that he's a solid player, but he never, for me anyway, I want to see it, but I haven't seen it yet in terms of a game that he stood up and he's really been a standout in that forward pack. Now, when you are surrounded by players like Malcolm Marx, like Marco van Staden, Jasper Wiese, it's very hard to be that guy that everyone looks at and goes, wow, he is phenomenal. But I'd like to see it. I feel like Salman Moura just needs it, because that would possibly make a lot of people believe that he is a good option moving forward. Moura will really have to prove himself if he wants to be in the mix when RG Snyman, Lud, and Mostert gets back, says Sakabula. Exactly right. We have got there, the box will not underestimate the Pumas surrounding, says Ernest. And of course, home field advantage for Argentina. That is something that up against the South Africans has actually helped them quite a bit in the past in terms of being able to be right at the top of their game and trying to reach that next level. And I have to say, if this game was in South Africa, the first match, I think that this would be very different. Salman Moura equals Joseph Dweber, says Salah. And that's the thing, like, Joseph Dweber at times was really strong, wasn't he? But overall, his line-out throws were the thing that really let him down, and that was one of the main reasons that he was taken out of that international side. How's it, Hamish? Glad you're hosting. Congrats on the win this morning, says Reno. And also we have got there, what do you think of Andre Esterhuizen? I think he was really good in that game up against the Lions. He's one of those guys, though, I think that his success will, or this sounds harsh, but his success, I believe, will be determined by who they put on his outside. You know that combination for the All Blacks, Conrad Smith with Ma'anonu? I feel like Nonu always played his best when he had Conrad Smith with him. And I feel like at the moment, Esterhuizen, once they find who that 13 is, that takes him to his next level, because he's good at the moment, but he doesn't normally get backed up by the guy who's with him when he plays club rugby. Like for the Harlequins, you could argue that when Joe Marchant was at 13, that was when Esterhuizen was playing some of his best rugby, but then they moved Marchant out to the wing at times, and then that seemed to muddle it a little bit. But he honestly, like, he's a crash ball specialist. He's a big man. You see him in interviews after the games that he's just a little bit bigger than you thought he was. What do you think of Ben Jason Dixon? I think he also needs a big game in this contest. I think he's a really talented guy that plays extremely well for the Stormers and the URC. Probably a little bit underappreciated for what he's been able to do for the Stormers, but like as much credit as you can get for franchise rugby, people seem to completely wipe that clean. It's a clean slate when you go to international games. So Jesper Wiese, Ben Jason Dixon, because he hasn't had a huge amount of international minutes, this is where some people look at it as you're starting from scratch. You have to now show us why you should be an international player. Like reputation from club rugby and franchise rugby is great. It'll help you get into the squad, but once you're in that squad, you have to find that next level. Who's the referee, please? I'm not actually sure who is actually going to be the referee for this game. Normally, it's easy to find, but I believe if I had to guess, which I don't really want to because I feel like I'll just be wrong, but I want to say it's Carl Dix. Was it Carl Dixon, or I feel like I saw something about it being either Carl Dixon or maybe Pierce might have been in charge of this one. Hopefully someone will be able to help us out. They threw Dweber into the fire, says Cool Story Bro. At which position do you think has the most competition in the Springboks squad, says Lilia B. Ooh. See, that's a tricky one because you could argue lock, but at the same time, like they've got a lot of decent locks, but just most of them are injured at the moment. I think if Lutiaga, Franco Mostert, and RG Snyman were all back, when you also consider someone like a Jason Jenkins, who doesn't even get in the running, Ruan Nokia, Ruben van Heeren, LaRue Roots, Gubran Hrobla, there's actually a lot of guys for that locking duo that could get maybe in there. You know, Ebenezeveth, Peter Stefter Toy also could get his name thrown in there as well. So I would probably say the locking duo, but it's whether or not all of those guys are up to the level that the Springboks are expecting. And the referee is Christoph Ridley for this one. Matthew Carley and Ben Whitehouse on the TMO says, Chad, thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciate it. Rassi does not rate Andre Esterhuizen. Is that because, though, that they haven't found that pairing that I mentioned earlier on? I think Esterhuizen and Moody was actually pretty decent last year, but they don't seem to want to go to that again. And I feel like Andre Esterhuizen sadly didn't help himself when he got that card not too long ago. The fact that he wasn't travelling to Australia because of that yellow card. Oh, sorry, it was a red card, wasn't it? But it's one of those things that, like, it's very hard once you start becoming ill-disciplined or you have one big decision. Like, it can take you out for a long time. Like, we see someone like a Quinn Tupaia for the All Blacks. He was one of the Form 12s, ended up getting injured, and then since then hasn't really got those opportunities yet again, even though he's been playing just as well as he was. And I feel like Andre Esterhuizen, with the fact that now they are playing Lucanioam as the number 12 as well, like that just pushes him down that little bit further. I would say at the moment he's their third choice 12. But then there are a few other guys who want to get right on the verge of making their way into the side. You look at someone like a David Creel, who I think is possibly never going to get the opportunity for the Springboks in the future because of how strong they already do have available in that 13 jersey, whether that's Jesse Creel, whether it is Kanan Moody, whether that is Lucanioam. Like, David Creel, for me, was one of the standouts of the URC for the Bulls, but unfortunately just can't quite get in there, and that is a great problem to have for the Springboks, the fact that their depth at the moment is huge. You know, you could have about 3 Springbok sides and they could all beat most teams, if not all teams, around the world, but it also means for those guys who are playing brilliant rugby, you might never get that opportunity unless there's an injury. That's the thing. Sometimes it only takes one little injury that then breaks out a superstar. We've seen it in the past. Some of these guys that weren't expected to play, and then you go into the starting lineup or you come off the bench and all of a sudden you get yourself like a long stay in international rugby. And Andre's time is gone, unfortunately, but still a great centre and a player, says Marshall. Yeah, I can see him still making a lot of money, playing either for the Sharks or playing for wherever he ends up in the future. The thing is, he's managed to avoid injury quite well. For a guy that just throws himself at the opposition, the fact that he hasn't really got too many injuries under his belt is great news for the future because he'll be able to keep on playing. Ethan Hooker, I believe, will be wearing the green and gold soon, says Lilia B. But then the big question is, where would you put him? Because he's been playing out on the wing in the Currie Cup. That is because of the return of Andre Esterhuizen. But I agree. I think Ethan Hooker, based off last season in the URC, for a Shark side that were struggling, he was one of those guys that consistently performed even in tough games. So, you know, I'd like to see it. But once again, who do you put him in for? Maybe once Damien Dialendi steps back, Lukanyuami's still got a little bit of time under his belt, but maybe once he also makes way, we're going to see those young guys get that next chance. What do you think about Jan-Hendrik Wessels at hooker? I think that he is one of those players, at the moment anyway, that actually can play both prop and hooker, and he can play them both very well. Now, there's some players who do a bit of hooker, you know, such as Amaka van Staden, such as Dion Fourie, but sometimes their work as a hooker doesn't actually live up to expectations. Whereas I think for Jan-Hendrik Wessels, he's got the combination of being able to play both extremely well, and he's also so young that you can adapt him into either position still with plenty of time under the belt to then build him into it. So I think that he's a really, really strong player for the Springboks. Final of the Currie Cup still has me shook. It was a close game. I was on the edge of my seat for that contest. We could lose this one. Argentina unpredictable, man, says Rapture. Exactly right. And that is why the Springboks, I believe, won't be underestimating this Argentine side. It's one of those ones that it's either going to work or it's not going to for the Pumas. But someone asked what my score prediction was a little bit earlier on. For myself, earlier on my preview, I actually predicted South Africa to win this one. And this is going to sound harsh, but at the same time, this is basing it off what we've seen from Argentina in terms of their up and down spiral that they have experienced recently. I said 43 points to 15 in favour of South Africa. Now, I also clarified that I think it could be a lot closer than that because both of the sides have a huge amount of potential to have a great performance here, and it could actually be quite close. But my logic was more based off Argentina. They often struggle to put together two massive performances back to back. We saw it up against New Zealand. They won the first one. They lost the second by that roughly the same margin as I predicted for this game. They had a good first game up against Australia. It was close. And then their next game, they won it by 40 points. So, you know, it's a consistency wave that Argentina haven't really been able to find yet. But I do think that the Springboks, with a few of the changes that they have made, we're actually going to see possibly a stronger Springbok side in terms of the amount of points that they're able to win or score throughout this contest. What do you think the Bok will do when Damien is back and he starts at 15, or Fassi or Villy? I think next year Villy will be out of the picture. I think he's trying to get his 100 caps, isn't he? Villy LaRue, and then I believe they're going to take him away. So it's one of those ones that, well, not take him away. That sounded really bad. It sounded like they were going to assassinate him or something. But I think that Villy LaRue, they're going to let him get that 100, and then that is when you've got to look at who is the next guy. Is it Apalele Fassi? I think that he has been extremely strong, and also throughout the URC, he has been performing well. You've got Juan Horn, just played in the Currie Cup final for the Lions. You've got Jordan Hendrickse, who slotted over that 59-metre kick to help them get the win, and you've got Damian Willemse, like you mentioned. Or is there going to be a switch? We've seen Kurtley Arendse play 15 before. I would not like to see that, though. I feel like he is so dangerous out on the wing. I don't want a Will Jordan situation, how they just move him there for the sake of it, rather than allowing him to score out on that wing. We have got Andre Esterhuizen's time is far from over. Whoever thinks that is a moron. Says Victor, to be fair, like a year and a half ago, people were saying Jesse Creel should not be in a Springbok kit. And now he's one of those players that can't be denied. Like, looking through at some of the old comments we saw on our videos about Jesse Creel, people were calling him dead weight. They were saying he should never touch a Springbok kit again. And then he's one of the sole reasons that the Springboks have been on this brilliant tear that they are on. He's played consistently week after week. We have got Nolan in the chat has said hi. Gerhard is here as well. Are you streaming the game or just delivering commentary beforehand? So we are going to be doing the build-up of the match, but then also we are going to be doing the play-by-play commentary. But it is just us talking because of licensing. Any match footage or audio would get us taken straight off YouTube, but in this case, we are going to just be talking all about the game, letting you know exactly what is happening throughout. So I do recommend sticking around if you can't find any options in terms of a paid subscription. You're looking sharp for an early morning start, mate, says Reno. Yeah, you wouldn't think that I've only had 30 minutes sleep, would you? But hopefully I stay energized all throughout this live stream and we don't all of a sudden drop off near the end of the game. And hi, it's Ander. Says Ander there, welcome in. Hope you are keeping well. Damien Valenza will go to 15, replacing Villy. And he sounded like Seb there, Hamish, says Flesh in there as well. And they will take Villy to a nice farm where there are many places for him to play, says Sucker Bull. And I think Willie will be part of the coaching setup once he retires. I could see it. I mean, that man certainly talks a lot when he's out on the field. So I'd like to think that he would be talking quite a bit in terms of helping the younger players. We saw Dwayne Vermeulen go straight into that coaching role to relative success, I would like to think, seeing as the Springboks have been doing extremely well after that. And was the world's best centre before he got injured, says Rapture. And isn't it interesting how one injury can completely change a player's trajectory? Because you look at Lukanyuam, and I mean, Quintal Pire's in a little bit of a similar boat for New Zealand. You have one big injury and everyone either forgets about you or a new guy comes in and takes your spot. And you spend time and time again trying to earn that spot back. Damien De Lende has been playing brilliantly at inside centre. Lukanyuam, we're talking about a guy who should have won World Player of the Year a couple years ago and never got that chance to I was going to say to hold that trophy, but I don't even think they get a trophy. It's a little thingy-mabob. But the fact that he went from that guy to now people almost don't even have him in their squad because they feel like he's getting a little bit slower. He hasn't quite found his full stride after that injury. I think he's going to have a really big game here and make it very difficult for Rassie Erasmus, but difficult in a good way to have so many selections that are going to be world class. And that is exactly what they want to do. They want to build that depth heading into that next Rugby World Cup. And I mean, there's like 50 guys at the moment for the Springboks that could easily make that squad and be very strong. Well, he must hang up his gloves, says Christopher. Yeah, although I think the Springboks also want to give him that justice of giving him the 100 caps if he wants it. Like, at the end of the day, a big injury for Villy LaRue, I believe, would possibly be the end of his international career. But in terms of, like, I think he's still got a few matches in him. Like, he has some poor moments at times, right? But Villy LaRue, I still think if it was right down to the wire in a close game, similar to what we saw throughout that Rugby World Cup, he's actually a really good player to have at 15 just to try and shore up that defence and just keep everyone calm, kick it downfield. Apalele Fasi, he has got a little bit of a reputation at the moment of getting that yellow card every game. What time does this match start? It is going to be kicking off in around 37 minutes. They actually delayed the kickoff by 10 minutes, so it will no longer be 11 p.m. kickoff for you guys in South Africa, but instead it will be the kickoff just that little bit later. And tell you what, it's going to be an epic one when these two sides go head-to-head in extremely hot conditions, though I should mention, so that is going to make it challenging for both of these teams. But it's going to be a good one, that is for sure. We will quickly go like that. The coverage in New Zealand is actually going to be starting at 8:50 a.m. New Zealand time, but that'll be a 20-minute build-up before getting into the match. Hello there, Hamish. Boy, I've been looking forward to this match in Springbok Replay Zone. I think a lot of people have been, because it's one of those contests that everyone expects the world, I think, of Argentina here. But Argentina probably at this point in time, only 30 minutes or so away from kickoff, don't even know how they're going to play. They're so unpredictable, can be a good thing because your opposition don't know what to expect, but it can also be something that heavily costs them. The word of the night, says your boy Alex. It's cold in South Africa, 6 degrees. Says rugby is life. What time does the game start? Irish time. Whatever the time is now in Ireland, add 35 minutes, and that's your kickoff. Remember that Thunder Vesterhazen? He has a brilliant Neil. England, sorry about my spelling. Says Neil there. And you have to look at New Zealand's rock bottom versus another nation's rock bottom right. Says, cool story, bro. Yeah, New Zealand definitely are not in their best form at the moment, and they will be the first to admit that. They haven't been able to finish games extremely poor throughout their last 20 minutes. I believe it's now 5 games in a row New Zealand have not scored a single point throughout the last 20 minutes. And that is something that you just can't afford to do. In a game of international rugby, your bench should be what carries on what the starting lineup created. And that's something that the Springboks do better, I believe, than any other side in the world. One of the main reasons for that, of course, is Quagga Smith, because that man knows the role. He has to make his way off the bench and he has to try and up the intensity. He has to try and bring his side up to that next level for the final 20 minutes. And that's often where the Springboks strike, and that's often where they get themselves the victories. New Zealand do not have that at the moment. They don't really have a guy who can step up and really cement himself at the end of a contest. And that is a big concern, because if you can't finish games, you also can't win them in the close ones. And New Zealand have found that out few too many times in recent moments. But looking through at South Africa, we're talking about a side that have been able to close out games. That first match up against New Zealand, a perfect example, 31 points to 27, the win to the Springboks. Their next game up against the All Blacks, winning it by 6. Both of those games split by less than 7, which in certain regards is still pretty decent for New Zealand. I know a lot of people wanted to go into South Africa and win those contests, but up against the world champs on their home soil, losing by less than 7 in both cases, it's hard to be disappointed too much by those performances. Up against Australia, the Springboks were dominant. Aussie have really struggled to score themselves tries throughout this rugby championship. In fact, they find themselves with the least amount of tries out of any side. They have 10 now, but they did struggle in terms of being able to get up to the double figures. For Argentina, they beat New Zealand in their opening contest, 38 points to 30, and that halted what was supposed to be a strong start to the Rugby Championship for Scott Robertson. Went with a very similar side in the second match, winning at 42 points to 10. And then Argentina up against the Aussies. That game, I'll be honest, they should have won. And if they had, man, that would have added more intensity to these last 2 games. If we think about the fact that Argentina more than likely would have had an extra 3 points than what they are on at the moment, just quickly looking at that table, that would mean they were on 13, which would then mean if they won one of these 2 games, perhaps that could have shaped the Rugby Championship, but also they were able to well and truly dominate Australia in that next game. That was only 2 weeks ago, 67 points to 27. And I mentioned about a stat earlier on. When Argentina beat a side by 50 plus points, the next week they are 66% likely to win their next contest. Although I do have to say, I feel like this game here might be the 33% that they do fall into. But in the chat, we have got there, are we going to see the game live or just talking? Sadly, it is just me talking because of licensing. Any match footage or audio gets you taken straight off YouTube, and it is unfortunate. But at the same time, there are a few options to be able to watch this game. DSTV, I believe, have this contest. I want to say that Sky in New Zealand, Stan Sport, Flow Rugby maybe have it, or it might be on Peacock instead. What time does the game start in New Zealand? It starts at 9 a.m. or in fact 9:10 a.m. You look like a nice guy. I mean, thanks, I think. I'm glad I look like one. Can you put the cap stats on, Hamish? Says Reno. I don't actually have the cap stats, believe it or not. I have pretty much every other stat that we have had in terms of team scoring, in terms of leading try scorers, leading clean breaks, everything along those lines. But I don't actually have just the stats in terms of the actual numbers for the players. But I will mention Eben Etzebeth. If he makes his way off the bench in this game, he will then be tied with Victor Matfield for the most capped Springbok of all time. So that is certainly something that he wants to put on his resume. And then if he plays next week up against Argentina in the follow-up match, he will then be the most capped. Thank you very much, Millen, I should say, for hitting that membership button. You now have access to the exclusive emojis. Hampshire, you're a legend. Great commentary, and just keep getting better and better. You got my sub 100% or 1,000%. Go to the box, says McNulty, and there as well. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We recently reached 55,000. Now we're on the road to 56. Facebook also streams live sometimes. I get put down after a few minutes, says Marshall. Yep. So they're pretty strict on it in terms of the copyright infringement. And it is unfortunate because I know there are a lot of people who do want to watch these games. And I believe they should be free in South Africa anyway, seeing as like the Springboks, for a lot of South Africans, like that is, I guess what you could say, like it's their, I don't know how to say this. It's like their passion for their country, if that makes sense. The voice is disappearing, but like it's what brings that feeling out and makes them proud to be South African. When they see the Springboks take to the field, when they see them shouting the national anthem, playing their hearts out, and I just think it should be free to air. I feel like it's the type of sport that if we keep on going down this pay-to-watch window, eventually, the numbers may drop. And Hamish, just better commentary than some of the seasonal commentators. Keep up the great work, says Regine. And also we've got there, what's the team lineups, captain? Says King. We will go through in a very short moment. Someone said, are you going to show the game? Sadly, due to licensing, any match footage would get us taken straight down, so we are just doing the play-by-play commentary all throughout the contest. But looking through at Argentina's starting lineup, Thomas Gaucho, Julio Montoya, and also Joel Scalevi there as the number 3. These 3 need to muscle up against the Springboks, who have got Oxnechet, Malcolm Marks, and also Thomas Detoy, Franco Molina, alongside Pedro Rubiolo in the locking duo, Pablo Matera, Marcos Crema, and also Oviedo there at number 8. In my preview, I said that Matera and Crema are my keys for this Argentine forward pack, because if they are able to stay physical up against this massive Springbok pack, Argentina have a chance, but they cannot afford to get put on the back foot in the breakdowns. That is where the mistakes will happen for Argentina, so they have to muscle up. Now, Marcos Crema, they have to let him know muscling up does not mean clotheslining people. That does not mean sucker punching them in their throats. That means getting in those breakdowns and winning the ball legally, which is something Marcos Crema can sometimes get it a bit wrong, gets a bit fired up. That man, Gonzalo Berranu, is the starting 9 with Thomas Albanoz on the outside at 10, Santiago Shocha Perez alongside Lucio Cinti in the midfield, Mateo Carreras, Batista Delgui, and Juan Cruz Malia, who has been really, really strong for Argentina throughout this Rugby Championship. He's had some great running meters, he's had some great try assists, tries for his own, and also just really holds this backline together. The combination of him and Albanoz last time that they took to the field seemed to be a winning one for the Argentines. Mateo Carreras, though, I haven't even mentioned that man. He has got pace for days. He's got a lethal step, and he's going head-to-head with Kurtley Arendse, which everything that I just described about Mateo Carreras, you can describe about that South African winger. But Kurtley Arendse, he will be on the right wing. Makazole Mapimpi finds himself on the left with Apalele Fassi slotting in as the number 15. No Villy LaRue for these matches up against Argentina, or at least for this first one in Argentina. So it means that Fassi once again gets the chance. He's been solid under the high ball and could be heavily utilised throughout this game for the green and gold because of that kicking orientated game we sometimes see from Los Pumas. In the midfield, it is Lucanio Arm alongside Jesse Creel. No Damien Dealende, but Lucanio Arm, not exactly a bad replacement to have for Damien Dealende. Cobus Reinach and Andre Pollard as the 9-10 combination. Some thought it was going to be Hendrickse and Mani Lebok. Give those guys who haven't had a lot of minutes the opportunity, but Reinach and Pollard, I feel like straight away from that selection, I want to say they're going to be a little bit more, maybe, I want to say safe in the way that they play, but saying that once you get it out wide, it's going to be all on for young and old. Kurtley Arendse is not exactly going to have a safe game out on the wing. He's going to be trying to score as many tries as physically possible. Makazole Mapimpi, he will want to run right over the top of Batista Delgui, and then Apalele Fassi, when he joins that back line, can be absolutely lethal. So we'll have to wait and see what type of tactics we see from the Springboks, but it's certainly a well-rounded backline here. Oxnechet, Malcolm Marks, and Thomas Detoy as the front row for the Boks. Selma Mura alongside Ruan Nokia, who I think is, in my opinion, one of the most improved players for the Springboks throughout this Rugby Championship. Maka van Staden at 6, Ben Jason Dixon 7, and Jasper Wiese. I mentioned about the importance of Marcos Crema and Pablo Matera. There is a lot of importance around this loose forward trio for the Springboks as well. I'm looking through at the chat. We have got there, what time is the game? The game will be starting in around, I believe it's 20 minutes time or 25 minutes time. They delayed it by 10 minutes from the original start time, but it shouldn't be too much later. It's going to be extremely hot for this one, and I think Argentina plays like they did against the All Blacks in the first round of the Rugby Championship. Then we're in for a tasty contest, and then I'm quite worried for the Boks. Says Manus, and South Africa not, people sorry, not on SABC to fire the Minister of Sport. He's an a-hole. Says Derek there, and I'm new here, says Cethillo, so welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. Anyone else who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are doing all the games of the Rugby Championship. We cover the November internationals on the channel, the URC, we did the Curry Cup final, international rugby, sevens, you name it. It's on the channel. We've also got previews of games. We've got lineup announcements and also predictions of what is going to be happening with the squads moving forward. Will it be on SABC? Sadly, not by the sounds of it, which is a big shame. You should offer a free striptease every time you get asked to show the game. I would have no clothes left, Fleshin, unfortunately, very quickly. In that regard, will you show the game live? Sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or audio gets you taken straight off YouTube, but we will be doing our best to give you the play-by-play of what is happening out there on the field, and it is not too far away from taking place, ladies and gentlemen. But this game is not the only one to look forward to for these two international sides. For the Springboks, they have got 3 matches in their November internationals. Sadly, not the match that people were after, which of course would have been involving the Irish. It's not going to be the rematch just yet, but they have got Scotland, they have got England, and they have got the Welsh. Now, these times are in New Zealand time, so this game is Sunday at 7:10 p.m. South African time. This game is Saturday at 8:40 p.m. South African time, and this one the same, taking place on the Saturday at 8:40 p.m. But 3 challenging games, or at least they should be, but they may not be. I feel like the only one that could be heavily competitive at the moment, based off current form of other sides, might be that matchup against the English. We know the storied rivalry between these two sides. I get to see it again in November. For Argentina, they have got a matchup against the Italians, matchup against the Irish. That's the one that South Africa want. I feel like they'll want to trade. And to be fair, probably a matchup against France, the Boks would have liked to have in the November internationals as well. But a lot of massive games are still coming up. So like I said, if you're new, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because we are going to be covering them all on the channel, keeping you up to date with all the international rugby, including the games next week. We are going to see the rematch of New Zealand versus Australia, this time taking place on New Zealand soil. That one will be kicking off at 9:05 a.m. South African time on Saturday. And then on the Sunday morning for us here in New Zealand, or the Saturday night for you guys in South Africa, the rematch. Now, at that stage, we will either know that South Africa have won the Rugby Championship, or we might have a little bit of late drama and perhaps that game decides the Rugby Championship, which would be absolutely massive for the Pumas. Just the fact that they have a chance of winning the Rugby Championship from here, yes, it's a thin chance, but just with the fact that they can win from here is phenomenal for them. We have got there, can you do paid ads on your live stream, Hamish? You deserve the credit, says Reno. I can indeed, but I just don't get anyone wanting to do paid ads on these streams. But thank you very much for your channel membership. Also, PW, thank you very much for hitting that membership as well. Some other live commentary has been removed already, says Sheldon. Yeah, they are pretty quick in terms of being able to take it down as soon as there's any sort of footage or audio. We've got another new member, Springbok Replay Zone. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. Now, I should clarify before everyone starts thinking that a membership will get you the game. The membership is just to support the channel. It gives you exclusive access to emojis and whatnot in the chat. But yeah, it is greatly appreciated, all 3 of you hitting those membership buttons. We have got there, thanks to my favourite commentator. I'm not sure how you can be so quick between reading comments and commentating. Greetings, Gail from South Africa. Yeah, that's the thing. I actually, to be honest, don't know either, because I never used to like doing a lot of reading back at school. And definitely not speed reading. I didn't realise that was a thing until I started doing the streams. We have got there, the Lord will always be with you, Springbok, says Zena. And also, what time is the game starting? It is going to be starting in around 22 minutes time. So we are getting extremely close. It was initially supposed to start in 12 minutes, but they delayed it by 10 minutes. And I believe that is just so that maybe it cools down a little bit, but also they will have a bit more time for the national anthems. You deserve being supported, mate. Thank you very much. Springbok Replay Zone. Greatly appreciated there. Go to the box and decide it today. You just put me off buying tickets to watch Wales versus South Africa in the autumn, says Bleshin. To be fair, it's not going to be that close. Well, it could be. I hope it is anyway. For your sake, it will be an atmosphere though, listening to not just the South African national anthem in the Principality Stadium, but also the Welsh national anthem. Like, that is worth the price of a ticket, in my opinion, without even seeing the game. Fiona has said hello, welcome in, hope you are doing well. Also, do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, your score predictions for this game as we move closer and closer to the start of this contest. It is going to be an epic one, like I said, and I feel like it's one of those games that could easily, I want to say it's got the chance of being a match of the tournament. Now, I feel like that is a bold statement, and I might have to take it back depending on what happens throughout this first half. are in pants tonight. I do have pants on at the moment. I had shorts earlier on, but I changed to pants because it was cold. We have got there, can you rate the Springboks backs? Says Sethulo. So in terms of the starting backs that they've got, Cobus Reinach, I think, is a very solid option in the 9. Andre Pollard is the consistent 10. You know, you're never going to get a terrible performance from Andre Pollard. Makazole Mapimpi, still a very clinical winger. Doesn't get that many chances now that Cheslin Colby and Kurtley Aronsa seem to be the combination that they would prefer, but still a really good player to fall upon. Lukanyo and Jesse Krill, dangerous midfield combo that I think will be just as strong, if not maybe stronger, than Dialendi and Krill. Kurtley Aronsa, fantastic young player who is going to have an extremely bright future for the Springboks. And then Apalele Fassi, same thing. A lot of people still don't like Fassi yet, mainly because of those yellow cards that he receives every once in a while, but I think that there is still a good chance that Apalele Fassi gets to at least 50 caps for the Springboks if he continues playing well in that number 15 jersey. Boxed by 11 is the score prediction from Springbok Replay Zone. South Africa by 10 points, got the rugby and the AJ versus Dubois heavyweight title fight on. Is that just about to take place, Darren, or is it a little way away? Can I watch the game live on this channel, says Francois? Sadly not, due to licensing. Any match footage or audio gets you taken straight off YouTube. We're going to be doing the play-by-play, letting you know exactly where they are on the field, who's got the ball, who's scoring the tries, etc. It looks like a decent afternoon in Argentina by the looks of it. A little bit overcast. Show a bit of the game. Sadly, even a bit of the game gets you taken down, and then that would mean that I don't have access to the channel for 90 days in terms of live streaming. We have there doing the ring walks now, says Darren. Also, it's pretty close. You have to keep us a little bit updated on that one. South Africa 61 to Argentina's 35, boxing the number 1 in the world. Says CH, they are at the moment in the rankings, but if Argentina won this game, believe it or not, with the way that the rankings are, it would mean that Ireland go to number 1, which would be, I think, a very surprising one for the Springboks. Even if they won next week, they would still be considered number 2 in terms of those rankings. It just shows how it heavily favours teams that are lower, but the Springboks just have to keep on putting performances together back to back. I'm watching the game soon. We'll still be here for the pre-commentary from Hamish the Legend. Says Reno. We have good there, so WGF is the point of this channel. Nothing who cares what an Aussie has to say, says Francois. Fun fact, not Australian. But we've had a lot of people. In most cases, some people actually leave us on while watching the game. It's kind of like a companion per se, but I guess 55,000 people do kind of enjoy the channel. It looks like you're not going to be one of them, though. Hello, Hamish. Good to see you well, brother. Looking forward to this game. Says Mark. And what day is the next match? Says your boy Alex. So the next one that is taking place for the Springboks, they are going to be playing at 6 p.m. Saturday next week. And that is the rematch up against Argentina taking place in South Africa. The follow-up of New Zealand versus Australia. That is taking place in New Zealand this time rather than in Australia. And that is at 7:05. I put the rugby on. Says Pro Ninja. Sadly, we cannot show the game due to licensing. Love your channel, says here today. And also, hey, brother, hope you're all good, having a good burger in South Africa while waiting for the game. Enjoy, says Sergio. And All Blacks are useless now. They certainly haven't been putting together their biggest performances as of late. We have got there, so Ireland depends on the Pumas to get the first place, pretty much. And that's just the way that the world rankings works. Whoever wins a game, of course, is going to boost up the others. Fiji are now 9th in the world because of Australia getting beaten by the All Blacks. So you could say that Fiji relied on New Zealand. There's a lot of ones that you can rotate. Pro Ninja said Rugby on, please. Sadly, due to licensing, like I mentioned, we aren't able to show any match footage. The highlights will be up on YouTube after the game, though. And where can we see the game? DSTV if you're in South Africa. Sadly, SABC did not secure licensing for this game. Sky Sport 1 if you're in New Zealand. Stan Sport if you are in Australia. Flow Rugby, I think, might have it, but also Peacock have got that. Very harsh chat this, Hamish, sorry. Says Reno. It is okay. We are used to it at this point in time. And thanks, don't mean to be personal. Says Francois in there. Box of my opinion, a heavy favourites. Says Clifford. And 9 minutes left. Yeah, we are getting close. Although I will mention they did delay the game by 10 minutes. So it is actually going to be 15 minutes from now that we do see it. When's the game starting? 15 minutes from the start of this contest. But ladies and gentlemen, anyone who hasn't seen the starting lineups, quickly running through it. Thomas Cachot, Julio Montoya and Joel Scalavi as the front row for the Pumas. Franco Molina and Pedro Rubiolo in the locking duo with Pablo Matera, Marcos Crema and Jojuan Oviedo there as the number 8, Gonzalo Burrano and Thomas Albanoz as the 19 combination. Santiago Xochabarez and Lucio Cinti will make up the midfield. And they've got a big role to play because they are across from Lucanio and Jesse Creel. So if they are not on their A game, they may really struggle in this contest. Santiago Carreras is there, Mateo Carreras out on the left wing, Batista Delgui out on the other, and Juan Cruz Malia at number 15. In terms of the Springboks starting lineup, they have got a lot of changes from the last game up against New Zealand, but that is not necessarily a bad thing. I think overall the Springbok side, they're showing off their depth, and they've got a huge amount of it. Front row, Oxnashe, Malcolm Marks, and Thomas the Toy. Salman Mura, he will once again be the captain for the Springboks, with Ruan Nokia slotting in as the number 5. He has won the most lineouts out of any player throughout this rugby championship. A phenomenal athlete and really looks like a future option. And they're locking Joe Maka van Staden at 6 with Ben Jason Dixon alongside Jesper Visa. A lot of physicality there. Ben Jason Dixon wants that follow-up game a little bit stronger than his last. Jesper Visa being consistent since returning from suspension. Kobus Reinach and Andre Pollard as the 9-10 combination. Lucanio and Jesse Creel going to be the midfield in the absence of Damien Dialendi. Makazole Mapimpi out on one wing. Kurtli Aronsa out on the other, and Apalele Fasi. We could see, that's the thing, if the Pumas aren't on song and they aren't playing well, I think we see at least 3 tries from this back 3 from the Springboks. Sounds harsh, but that is only if the Argentines haven't shown up and they aren't playing their best rugby here. We have got there in the chat 50-0 to the Springboks. Says Yeet, some people, I just have too much brandy already. It's late in South Africa. And also we have got there last week. I listened to the commentary. That was utterly disappointing. Let's see. Says Henry there. Well, we will try and be less disappointing this week, Henry. But welcome back, I guess. It's interesting that you came back if it was that bad. I wouldn't want to get number 1 ranking that way. It would feel hollow, says Geza. And there as well. And we have got there, Hamish, what is your score prediction? So my original score prediction that I went with, 43 points to 15 in favour of the Springboks. So, you know, it's going to be an interesting one to see whether or not that can happen. The problem that they may have is if Argentina do show up, which that's the weird thing. Up till the kickoff and even throughout the first half, we will be asking the question, what Argentina are we going to see? Are we going to see the side that played very well in the second half up against Australia? Or are we going to see that side that played up against New Zealand a few weeks ago and lost 42 points to 15? It's an interesting one. Can you rate the Springboks back? We already did Cethello a little bit earlier on. I think Hamish is excited for the Pumas. Says Neil, I'm just excited for this game in general. It's going to be one of those matches that I hope delivers. If it's anything like the Curry Cup final, we are in for a treat. And we are only sitting 13 minutes away, ladies and gentlemen, from the kickoff of this contest. You know, Argentina could come just swinging and giving our backs or our box a really bad day at the office. They have done it before, says Mark, and they actually normally do up against the Springboks. I have an interesting stat here, which is Argentina have led at halftime on the day in 6 of their last 10 matches up against South Africa, including their most recent game where they were winning 10 points to 3 at halftime. But here is the big kicker, and this is the big difference maker. Of those games that they've led, 6 of them, they've only won 2. It was not your channel. Oh, okay. Well, welcome in, Henry, in that regard. Then hopefully we do a decent job. Hamish, in your view, should D-Mac be dropped as he almost cost the All Blacks the game, says Geza? It's a tricky one because at the moment, is it going to be Beauden Barrett that they look at as the replacement 10? Are they finally going to give Harry Plummer some minutes as the 10? So until they decide what their plan is in terms of what the next move is, I don't think they can afford to take D-Mac out, because if they don't have a next idea of who it's going to be, then it will just be completely scrambled anyway. But I do think Harry Plummer could be a future 10 option for the All Blacks. Hey, you're welcome, Bud, says Springbok. Thank you very much, mate. It's greatly appreciated. Springboks need this, or need to take their game to new levels. Start beating teams by much higher margins, says Steve Willis. To a certain extent, but then at the end of the day, a win is a win, and I feel like if you're close in a game and you only just win, you could argue you haven't expended any extra energy. You know, you're keeping it as close as possible. But the Springboks, I think something that they deserve a lot of credit for is their ability to find a win in terms of a close game. We look at the Rugby World Cup, winning 3 games in a row by 1 point. Not many sides have that ability, because you need not just composure, but you need to just know exactly what your tactic is and how you can win. And sometimes it's not how you win, but it's just that one big moment where you get the win. And for the Springboks, they have that ability. They know how to turn on that instinct right at the right moment. Is this against these DJ Herter? It is going to be me commentating the game, but sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or audio gets you taken off YouTube. I'm secretly a fan of Hamish. Cheers. Hamish, you're following Squidge Rugby's channel, says Reno. I actually, believe it or not, I don't actually get a chance to watch a lot of YouTube. So sadly, I don't actually know too much about what is happening in the rugby YouTube world. I know there's been a lot of channels popping up since kind of that Rugby World Cup stage. I feel like there's like 100 now, whereas before that Rugby World Cup, there were maybe 10 or 15. So that is great to see that there are a lot more. And they certainly do. Hamish says, David the Mod. And is this guy going to be on the screen the whole time? Sadly, you do have to look at my face the whole match. Yes. When does the match start? It is going to be 10 minutes away. It is 36 degrees Celsius with 28% humidity. So that is going to be brutal in there. It's also a stadium that's almost got an enclosed roof other than right at the top. So that'll make it even hotter. You're probably looking at about 41 degrees down on the field. The players are going to possibly gas out relatively early, but it's whether or not they can keep up the intensity for this full 80 minutes. And once again, that Springboks reserves bench is normally what turns around a game for them. And I feel like this one is going to be no different. But looking through once again at the starting lineups in a short moment, ladies and gentlemen, just before the kickoff, we will get to see exactly who will be taken to the field. There is no black and white in the box, only green and gold, says James Livingston. And I'm a huge fan, says Martin is so cool. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. And the box is now playing, says Cleo. Although they do start 10 minutes later in Argentina, we should clarify the clock is wrong in terms of when the game was starting. It is instead a 9:10 a.m. kickoff, but that is also an 11:10 p.m. kickoff for you guys in South Africa. You should have pre-recorded answer to are you showing the game, says Lilia. I would have to click the button a lot, wouldn't I, for being able to do it. Can I watch the game on this channel? Sadly, due to licensing, any match footage gets you taken straight off YouTube, banned for 3 months. So we will only be doing the play-by-play commentary. They're showing Argentina in the dressing room. They are looking pretty composed at the moment. A massive game just around the corner that could shape not just their rugby championship, but the future for Argentine rugby. To be able to pull off a win up against the Springbok side, who are in immaculate form. We look through at the last 8 times that these two sides have played. Argentina have lost every single one of them. And on average, they lose by a margin of 15 points. So that doesn't bode well. But this Argentine side, after last week's performance, they will be on an absolute high. But they have to make sure that they keep on playing at that high rather than dropping off. Because as soon as you drop off up against the Springboks, that is where they make you pay. And normally that is where they score 2 or 3 tries. How's it, Hamish? Not going to lie, I'm nervous. The Pumas are formidable, says Peter Lowe. And I do think in terms of the odds, I think that this is the closest that Argentina have been in terms of the betting odds to beat South Africa in a very long time. So that is just a credit to Argentina and perhaps a little bit of the unknown about the South African mixed side in terms of those inexperienced players going in with a few of the experience. Lots of channels, but a handful of ones worth listening to. Says Corin there. And 3K viewers, 1K asking if they can watch the game here, says Grant. And we have got there, we know something they don't, says Andrew, and Go the Bok. And there is Aussie is not playing, that is correct. He is going to be in Argentina with the side, though. They will now make their way out of the tunnel, the green and gold. There's the big man, Eben Etzebeth. If he plays in this game off the bench, he will become tied for the most capped Springbok in history alongside Victor Matfield. If he then plays next week, he takes that record away. And when does it start? It is going to be starting in 7 minutes' time. They are out there on the field now. They are just about to have the 50, or sorry, I was about to say 50, but the national anthems, and then they will be underway for this match. Why is Sia not playing? He is a little bit still injured, I believe, but also alongside that, we've got to remember Sia Khaleesi has had a lot of game minutes over the last little while. In fact, the player who has had the most minutes from these guys who are there is Jesse Krill. He has been playing consistently throughout this rugby championship, but they've decided to give Sia Khaleesi a break. He still travelled with the side, probably pass off some of that leadership. Hobus Reinhardt taking some deep breaths, waiting for the arrival of the Pumas. It already started. I mean, they're out on the field, but the game has not started. They did delay it by 10 minutes. Can you play the anthem? Sadly, that would count as the footage and whatnot, so it would get us in a lot of trouble. Springbok fan has just donated another membership. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. Sierra's coach in the box. And also we've got their Springboks beat the ABs back-to-back. Says Stephen, they certainly did by less than 7 on both occasions. Both of those games going down to the wire, and that is what people are wanting to see in this contest. Perhaps a very close game between these two sides, but leading the side out, Santiago Herreras, bringing up his 50th cap for Argentina, but he will be coming off the bench rather than starting. Great coverage as always. Hamish, please stop explaining to those who keep asking why there is no live viewing. I'll let them tutor off elsewhere. Let's have every good guys on here. No nasty remarks. Thanks, Hamish. Says Jane. No quarter pressure. Says Noob. And also we have got there, I was born in Scotland, adopted by South Africa. Go the green and the gold. Says Livingston there as well. And we have got there in the chat, who do you think is going to win? My prediction at the start of this game was 43 points to 15. And I feel like that was harsh on Argentina, but I did say at the time I wanted to be harsh because that is what you'd normally expect when you see Argentina taking on South Africa. But this is one of those games that we could actually see the complete opposite. We could see a close one going down to the wire, but the Springbok side, they are looking formidable. This Argentine side, they are looking up for the challenge, and we are about to see the start of this contest, ladies and gents. Hammer the like button, folks. Says James there, Box will win today. They will be champions. Says Manny M, has the match started? Not quite. We have got the national anthems. We're only about 4 minutes away from the kickoff of this contest. Thank you very much, David the Mod. Can I ask what was the results earlier on? Was it work till now? Thanks. So far we have seen New Zealand beat the Australians by 3 points. We saw Fiji win the Pacific Nations Cup. And then we also saw a Curry Cup game go right down to the wire in which the Sharks were able to win with a last-minute penalty to help get them the victory in that one. So we've seen some close games and we've seen some not-so-close games. I'm hoping that this game falls into that category of a close matchup, but the South African national anthem is being sung, which means we are getting ever so closer to the start of this contest. In the crowd, they will be fired up. There are a few Springbok kits I can see. And go the Bok, we are behind you. Says Anasia, or Annalisa. Hopefully I've said that correctly there. Nebenetsabeth, of course, going to be fired up for this game. Coming off the bench, he would have loved to start. I can tell you that right now. And Hamish, your take on Khaleesi in the coach's box. Says Reno, I think that he's one of those guys that's been in the Springbok environment for so long. He will know exactly what Rassie is wanting from the boys in this game. And perhaps that is a future position that we see, similar to what we saw for Dwayne Vermeulen, how he goes into that coaching box. See, Khaleesi is still young to retire, 1 more year. Yeah, I think he will be around for a little bit longer. In fact, I don't know, maybe he even tries to go to that next Rugby World Cup. It would be a tough one. You'd have to avoid injuries, but there is a chance it could happen. There is a lot of coaches in that Springboks box. They had to make a long one because there were about 7 coaches in a row there. And it's late watching my countryman in Namibia. Says Anthony, the South African national anthem has just come to a close. Anyone who is unfamiliar with the starting lineup, Argentina, Thomas Gaucho, Julio Montoya, and Joel Scalavi as the front row. Franco Molina alongside Pedro Rubiolo, and then Pablo Matera, Marcos Crema, and Joaquin Oviedo as the number 8. Gonzalo Berrano partnering with Thomas Albanoz in the 19 combination. Santiago Chocabarez and Lucio Cinti in the centres, with Mateo Carreras, Batista Del Gui, and Juan Cruz Malia at number 15. In terms of the South African starting lineup, quite a few changes compared to what did take to the field up against the All Blacks. Oxnashe, Malcolm Marks, and Thomas Detoy as the front row. Salman Mura, he is the captain at number 4, and Ruan Nokia, one of the standout players for South Africa throughout this Rugby Championship, especially when it comes to the lineouts. He is there as the number 5. Maka van Staden alongside Ben Jason Dixon and Jasper Visa in the loose forward trio. Kobus Ronak and Hondre Pollard, 9-10. Lukanyoam and Jesse Krill in the absence of Damian Dialendi. Makazolima Pimpi, Kurtley Aronsa, and Apalele Fasi starting in at number 15. The Argentine national anthem has just taken place, ladies and gentlemen, and then from there we are straight into the contest. We will be doing the play-by-play commentary. Sadly, due to licensing, there will be no match footage because of copyright infringement. Did the match start? Or what? Because this man talk a lot. It hasn't started yet. Even though it said that it was starting at 9, or that would be 11 p.m. for you guys in South Africa, the game was delayed by 10 minutes. I believe that might have been a little bit down to the heat. Currently 36 degrees Celsius at the moment for these two sides to play in. And of course, in a stadium that is enclosed, it is going to feel even hotter. It's going to be a heat wave for the players, and they have to try their absolute best to be able to handle that and try and put their best foot forward. Is better than most players here, but he has played as second best. In fact, he should succeed Sia, says Deutsch Bogo. And there, Hamish, my wife's got a crush on you, mate, says Neil. And anyone from Jimenez here. And South Africa looks tired, says Roger Smith. I think both of these sides will be feeling the heat out there. Like I said, 36 degrees Celsius. We just watched a Curry Cup game in South Africa that involved about 6 degrees Celsius and rain. This game, it's going to be sun and 36. So it will certainly take a little bit of time to be able to adapt to these type of conditions. When is the game going to start? In about 1 minute's time. Argentina just finishing off their national anthem, and then they will be ready to go for this match. Are they having mandatory drinks breaks? Yep, they will be. The question is it only going to be 1 per half, or is it going to be 2 per half? I would say that we'll see many drinks run onto the field for these two sides. I like this commentator, says Roderick Smith. Thank you very much, mate. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated. You all being here for this contest. We are currently 800 away from 56,000. So if you want to help us get there, be sure to hit that subscribe button. The Argentines in support of their side in the stands. They want to see a consistent Pumas side. Question is, can they do so? We have got there, Argentina is trash, says Conrad. I would disagree. I think that they've had a very strong rugby championship and shouldn't really be underestimated in this game. Now, I did predict South Africa to win by a comfortable margin, but it's just one of those games that they have to make sure that they are competitive early. Argentina, can you please stop talking? Says Langesa. It would be very quiet on the live stream if I did. It would be a bit awkward, wouldn't it, if I completely stayed silent throughout the whole stream. And Durban gets the tropical weather. The URC, the Sevens Cape Town leg, is in the summer, and they have a great defence, says G-Man. Has it begun? Not quite. The Argentine national anthem has just come to a close, which now means we're into the start of this contest. Show the score. The score is 0-0, as they have not kicked off yet. But now they are ready to go. You can drink water so long, says Malabongwe. Hopefully I said that correctly. No rugby team is trash, says Anthony. And also we've got the here we go, says Salah in the chat. But these two sides, do let me know the score prediction. Ladies and gentlemen, love you so much, South Africa, says Busisiwe. Hopefully I've said that correctly. And I only recognise Flesh and one or two others. We have the Get Along Gone. And we have got there, what commentary will it be if you don't talk, says Regine. Exactly right. And Forever Green, Forever Gold, says Jimmy Shah. The final preparations are just taking place for these two sides. I'm wondering how quickly they're going to try and attack in this contest, whether or not they're going to try and play it a bit more methodical, not rush out the gates with the heat. Christoph Ridley, he will be in charge of this game. It's going to be Ben Whitehouse in charge of the TMO. Marcos Kremer, the big man, always fired up for a game. Him and Eben Etzebeth maybe will throw, I was going to say throw hands, but they might have a bit of a scuffle later on in the contest. They just seem like the type of players that when they come and collide, it's going to be interesting. That is for sure. But Julio Montoya, he will be fired up. They will know that this is probably their best chance in a long time for the Argentines. We've got the countdown now, ladies and gentlemen. 5 seconds until the start of this contest. And it's going to be the Argentines to kick this one off for the Rugby Championship in round 5. And that one was almost out on the full, I thought. But managing to just stay in the field of play for Jasper Wiese. Kobus Reinach going across to Mako Fun start, and they are just inside of their own 22 here, the Springboks. And now Kobus Reinach rolling it back. Will look to put it downfield. And it looks like he is trying to find that touchline, has been able to do so. Didn't get the best angle on it, but wanted to be safe. Commentary is excellent, want silence. Go to South Africa commentary, says Chris Grobela. And also we have got there, Go the Bok. And their chat. And a lot of people are predicting South Africa to win by the looks of it, although there are a couple going for the Pumas, and they have just successfully completed their first line-out, but then the knock-on coming from Gonzalo Burrano, dropping that ball, and it now gives South Africa their first scrum. So a lot earlier on in this contest than we probably anticipated for the first scrum to pack down. Bertrano, he may go to regret that decision, because now we're going to get to see the Argentines possibly get driven backwards. That's the thing. The Springbok scrum, even with the changes, you still got Oxenishare there, still going to have Malcolm Marks, and then Thomas Tatoy Not exactly too bad in a scrumming situation either. And there's already an injury here. I think that's Thomas Gachot getting a little bit of strapping. Bro, you're good at the pronunciation, says Lisi. Thank you very much, mate. A lot of strapping on that ankle of Thomas Gachot. Makes you wonder whether or not there was already an injury there. Because surely he hasn't, broken his ankle in this first minute. I don't think. But he doesn't look like he's too comfortable at the moment. Gachot, it is way too early to make a sub, though. And there's going to be a pen, and we want to see the game, not you, says Xian. Well, unfortunately, you will have to pay money for the game on DSTV or Sky Sport or Stan Sport or wherever it is that you do get your rugby. But yeah, there aren't many free options around, sadly, for being able to watch this game. But yeah, it's unfortunate because, like I said, I wanted this game to be free to air on SABC. Of course, I have no say in what they do, but it would have been nice to see. Cobus Reinach, I should say, sorry. About to put this ball in. 893 kgs for the Springboks pack weight compared to the 926 kgs that we see for Argentina. Now the big push going forward for the South Africans. They have got the penalty advantage. Jesper Wiese goes across to Reinach. Pollard with the skip pass out to Apalele Fassi. Now Kurt Liarense trying to show off his step, but he has been bulldozed into touch from Mateo Carreras. He is a tough individual to get past. And they will go right back for the penalty advantage. I wonder what the medical supplies bill looks like for a rugby team. Tell you what, they'd have to spend a lot of money on tape, that is for sure. Holding all the legs and the elbows together. Mateo Carreras probably got about $15 worth just on his elbow alone. And shame the poor boys have to play in this heat, says Caden. Yeah, it's certainly something that they are not used to. Playing in close to 40-degree temperatures. Now, kicking this one downfield, looking for touch, and they have been able to do so. That is a sensational kick from Andre Pollard. It's now going to put them only about 10 metres out from the goal line. 2.5 minutes into the fixture. And the rolling maul may be just as dominant as that first scrum. And if that is the case, Springboks might not be too far away from getting their first try in the contest. But it is Malcolm Marks, who's normally very consistent with his line-out throws. Goes to the front and finds the hands of Ruan Nokia. He is still the most targeted player in terms of lineouts won throughout the Rugby Championship. Malcolm Marks hanging on to this at the back. Springboks slowly creeping towards the 5-metre line, but they have now been told to use it. Reinach goes across to Lukanyo. Beautiful open space there. And Apalele Fassi slides in for the first try of this contest. 3 minutes in, and the Springboks have already struck. And to be honest, that is exactly what you expect from the Springbok side to be able to get on the board early. It is Apalele Fassi. The gap was absolutely huge, and there was no way he wasn't going to be making it to the try line with a gap that size. I think one of the Argentines managed to get an ankle tap, but it wasn't going to stop him from there, and slides over, scores the first try of the match, and already we have seen the Springbok strike. They'll be very happy with that start, that is for sure. How much did you support the Lions or the Sharks in the Currie Cup? I was actually really enjoying watching that game from an impartial view because it was so close. 0-0 at halftime to then go on and be only separated by 2 at the end was pretty awesome. But that kick has gone over from Andre Pollard. That is going to make the score now 7-0 in favour of South Africa. But the exact start that they would have been after Lukanyo Army went across to Pollard, who just opened up the space for Apalele Fassi. I mentioned how dangerous he can be when he joins that attacking line. Exactly what did take place. Got a new member on the channel, Anga Bonga. Thank you very much. You now have access to the emojis on the channel. Going to the right-hand side, Kobus Reinach. Going across to Salman Murat. It's going to be offside. Penalty advantage for the Springboks. Chipped in behind. Apalele Fassi. He managed to get to it, but just knocking it on in the process. Now going back. And it is going to be another penalty. It's going to be an interesting one. No bad commentary, but didn't know the better. Great so far, thanks, says Henry. 5 minutes into the game, we've already seen 2 penalties going against Argentina, and one of those has cost them a try. Fassi a solid, bright future, says Christopher, and go the Bok, says Leonard. And there as well, kicking this one into touch. It will be 25 metres out from the line now for the Springboks. At the moment, there hasn't really been a lot of a counter from Argentina, but this is very similar to how it started up against Australia. Australia got up by 20 points, then they were able to win the game by 40 Argentina. But the difference is, I mentioned it as well in the preview, you can't afford to let the Springboks get a 20-point lead because you just never will catch them. And already they are looking really strong. Andre Pollard trying to run straight over the top of Julian Montoya, who drags him down now. Reinach going to the short side to Makazolema Pimpi. It's been taken down in a two-man tackle. Salman Murat with the short ball to Thomas the Toy. Reinach recycling quickly. Malcolm marks him behind to Pollard. Lucanio, I'm not sure why Jesse Creel left that. I think it was a miscommunication. He thought there was a man on his outside, but there was no one out on that left wing. Of course, Makazole Mapimpi had recently hit the ball up. Now, it's going to be the line out for Argentina High. What is the score at the moment? It is 6.5 minutes in, and it is 7 points to 0. Where's the game on? If you're talking about location, DSTV does have this game. Super Sport, I think it's the same thing, isn't it? But Argentina, they have got, I want to say it's on ESPN in Argentina. Now, Upper Lilifasi will go with the up and under. Chasing after this is Makazole Mapimpi. Running hard. Tries to put in the hit, but he has been almost outpaced with that little step from the Argentine fullback. Counter ruck coming, and off his feet was Marco van Staden. Going to the left-hand side, Joel Scalavi. Tackled by Thomas de Toy. And in over the ball, Marco van Staden, a brilliant jackler, and he has managed to get the turnover. I was rooting for Fussy, well done. Says Michelle there. You look dumb, says Sean. Cheers, mate. Now going off to the left-hand side, Upper Lele Fassi, going off to the left. Finding Makazole Mapimpi out on the wing. And a counter ruck coming from Argentina. Have they got it? No, they don't. Kobus Reinach now finds the hands of the big man, Oxnashe. Really good ball retention at the moment from South Africa when they get their hands on the ball. Now going to the left-hand side, Ben Jason Dixon finds the offload to Ruan Nokia. Now Reinach short ball to Jesse Creel, straight through, and it's another one for the Springboks. 2 tries in 8 minutes. Oh, hang on. Hang on, Christoph Ridley's looking upstairs, is he? Or is he okay with it? I think he's okay with it, in fact. So it's going to be Jesse Creel scoring the next try for the Springboks. This one started in a very similar fashion to what New Zealand versus Australia did, although that game got closer as the match wore on. This game does not seem like it is going to be that way. And what an angle to run on, says Salah. Yeah, saw the gap and decided to just go straight towards it. It might be tad forward, says Chad there. Is this going to be a massacre? It's looking that way at the moment because, you know, you're in that situation of if the Argentines don't get a control of this game soon, like they're going to be 20-something points down after 15 minutes. And that just makes it extremely difficult. I can even watch the game. Says, because they're brilliant commentating, go the Boca. Says Lillian. And we have got there the chat who is winning at the moment. The Springboks are up 14-0. Eben Etzebeth, he will be extremely happy with the way that this game has started for the Springboks. Love the time, mate. Very profesh. Says Jonathan there. It's going to be kicked off again by Argentina. Only 9 minutes in, and already the Springboks have scored 2 tries. They have been very impressive. Creel and Upper Lelefasi, 2 men who have managed to get them. Kobus Reinach going for the kick and behind. Makazole Mapimpi going up for it, but doesn't take it cleanly, and the penalty does go the way of South Africa again. Argentina's discipline is really letting them down. And who scored, says Sean. So far we have seen Upper Lelefasi and Jesse Creel as the 2 try scorers for South Africa. And they may not be the only ones in this first 15-minute period, as Andre Pollard has now booted that one into the corner, about 15 out. They will have another line out. Hello to all the fans and the best commentary. Says Petrus, thank you very much. Thoughts that Australia play well? They play well at times. I do think that they still could have won that game if they were a little bit stronger at points. New Zealand, they'll be extremely disappointed with their second half, only getting 3 points throughout that time. Hi, Birch. We want to see the game, says Rafika. Super Sport does have this game available for you. Now, Ruan Nokia does manage to do very well to claim that ball for the Springboks. It was an awkward line out. Managed to have a bit of a fumble and then drag it down Reinach on the 22. Going off to Thomas. The toy runs into the wall of the Pumas. Though that wall has been broken through twice already in the first 10 minutes. Reinach in behind to Pollard. Now Locanio Arm finds Jesse Creel. He's played a lot of minutes throughout this rugby championship. Reinach looked for the pass to Pollard. Wasn't anticipating it. In fact, I think he was just doing the dummy run. So now the turnover for Argentina. Back into the pocket, Thomas Albanoz does get the chance to clear the lines, but he doesn't manage to find touch. Upper Lele Fasi now, running this one forward on the halfway line. And a lot of running meters throughout the URC, which has started back up, and we will, of course, be covering the URC on the channel. Cross kick from Andre Pollard, almost stolen, but Argentina make the mistake. Jesse Creel offloading over his head to Ben Jason Dixon. And the Boxer on attack again. Makazoli Mapimpi with the pick and go around the side. Reinach going to the right here. Going to be nicely controlled by Salman Murad, and he's dropped the ball, but the penalty will go the way of the Springboks again. And this is an easy 3 if they want it, but I doubt they will. I think they'll kick for the corner and try and up the intensity. I want to see the game. I'll listen to you, says Rafika. Well, the game is on DSTV. Unfortunately, you do have to pay for it, though. In that regard, there aren't too many free options around, sadly, due to SABC not picking up the licensing for this game. As Pollard playing, he is indeed playing at number 10 here. It looks like the Springboks, I think they've called for the kicking tee here, so they've actually decided that it's a good idea to take a moment, settle into this game a bit, because at the end of the day, it is like close to 40 degrees out there. We have got there's Pollard playing. He's Sean, he is, yes, and go the block. Here's Talali. And there, what is their position on the field? This kick will be about 22 metres out for Andre Pollard, but some fantastic offloading from the Springboks. And Sean Polly is definitely playing, says Helen. And 5K viewers, well done, lads, says Decado. Thank you very much. Yeah, anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And that one has gone over from Pollard. 17 points to 0 now for the Springboks. Of course, they have got Mani Lebok. Will be making his way off the bench a little bit later on for this match. And great show, so needed, says Leslie. And we are covering every game of the Rugby Championship alongside the internationals in November. We will get to see the Springboks playing Scotland, England, as well as the Welsh. Nicely taken by Jasper Visa inside of the 22. We have got a new channel member as well, Tishi Pung. Thank you very much for hitting that membership button. And also a little bit earlier on, I did see I missed one. The channel member in Zani as well. Now Kobus Reinach waiting for this ball. We'll look to go for the pocket where Pollard was waiting eagerly to boot that one into touch. Argentina just haven't really had any territory, though, throughout this first half. We're only 13 minutes in, already down by 17. It's going to make it a huge mountain to climb if they want to get the win. South Africa definitely number 1 at the moment. As much as I hate saying that, credit where it's due, says G-Man. Now line out throw for Julian Montoya. Throwing it in nicely to the front. Oviedo goes across to Gonzalo Burrano. Rush defense from Jesse Creel. Shuts down the back line straight away. Burrano back into the pocket. Finds Thomas Albanoz, who goes through a gap. Great low tackle by Locanio Arm. Quickly recycled by Argentina. Beautiful inside ball. Santiago Shoca Perez. He has Mateo Carreras on the outside, and Argentina will score their first try of the contest. That is how dangerous they can be, but they're going to need a lot more of those if they want any chance of winning this matchup. But a great try from Mateo Carreras. We'll quickly write him in. But it was just that inside ball from Albanoz. In fact, after the Albanoz breakdown, well watched there, and just goes on the inside to Santiago Shoca Perez, who has been a phenomenal talent for the Argentines. And then they managed to score it. Missed tackles by the box. Yeah, now 17 points to 5 in the score. Come on, Argies, says Josh there, and great reply from Argentina. And it was exactly what they needed. They couldn't allow the Springboks to be the next team to score. And the kick has gone over, making the score now 17 points to 7. This Argentinian crowd is disappointing. In what regard, Mert? Because I will mention we can't hear the crowd as loud as we normally would, but I think that is because of where the microphones are placed with how far away the crowd are from the microphones. Like if we look in the background. Well, you can't really see it, but pretty much there is a long distance between the crowd and the microphones, which is why you can't really hear them too much. Thanks for your commentary. I don't have DSTV. That's the only way to follow the game. No worries at all. And yeah, we do a lot of international games on the channel, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. Kicked off long by Andre Pollard down to Santiago Shocha. Thought about kicking for a second, but he is tackled low by Makazolima Pimpi. This is normally where the Springboks are the most dangerous, where they go for that counter-attack straight away, partially charged down for the Argentinian kick, and well claimed by Ben Jason Dixon. Huge shot coming in on him. Ball has come out the back, stolen by Gonzalo Burrano. He has the man with him, but he's lined up and dropped by Apalele Fassi. Argentina inside of Springbok territory. Carreras, in fact, sorry, this time it was Albanoz. Numbers on the outside. Skip pass goes out to Mateo Carreras. They just got the passing slightly wrong there. Curtly, I should say, has to make the tackle. Albanoz, flat ball to Joel Scalevi, who is lined up early by Salman Mura. Back across, Albanoz again is involved in this backline. Juan Cruz Malia finds the offload. Looping around play here for Argentina. It is silky skills at the moment coming from the Pumas. 38 metres out. Burrano, some really nice phase play as well. Coming from Argentina, flat ball to Oviedo. Space opening up, finds the ball on the inside to Burrano, but they just couldn't quite link up with their next pass. And Marco van Staden again has stolen the ball for the Springboks. That is his second turnover in only a matter of 17 minutes. Oh, they're going back for the original advantage for not releasing, which means Reinach has... Marco van Staden has won the penalty. This is a game we wanted to see. Says Chad, yeah, back and forth stuff. And we've got to remember, this game is being played in extreme heat. Like, players are going to be absolutely exhausted by the end of it. So Master has become a channel member. You now have access to the exclusive emojis on the channel, so be sure to use them throughout the chat. Argentina is certainly in the game. Says Tato Dema, Van Staden is a legend, says Chris. Yeah, just straight away pouncing over that ball, ripping it away, which is exactly what they needed. Christoph Ridley getting a water break at the moment. It's just one of those games that are going to be extremely taxing on the body, and you have to wonder who is going to take to the field next week for the South Africans and the Argentines. Show us the actual game, man. Sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or audio gets you taken straight off YouTube. It is a shame, but it is illegal to show any footage because I don't have the licensing to do so, because I don't have a few $1 million to buy it. And Hamish, there's a slight seismic movement in my city right now. I'm telling the truth. I live near Santiago del Estero. And I was watching it and it turned off. Says shot by Quizzy. If you were watching on YouTube, it's more than likely that that channel got a copyright strike. And now they will probably be taken down. Oh, TMO. A tackle by South Africa might have been dodgy, says the rep. Well, he didn't say it like that. That's how I said it. But they're checking for a South African tackle here. This might be bad. So I've had to go back for it. Mateo. Oh, it's the one on Mateo Carreras by Curtly Arden. So I don't think it was that bad. No, it's not bad. If there's head contact there is very minimal amounts of it. Curtly Arden, so yes, he was a little bit upright, but change of direction. Is there head contact? If there is, I'd be surprised, but he hits him on the hand, doesn't he? And then it bounces up. Hits him on the chin. Surely this is not a yellow card. Even a penalty would be generous. It's going to be a yellow... No. It's going to be a yellow card. That has to be one of the softer yellow cards we have seen in recent times. That is a really poor one. Then saying that, Curtly Ardense, yes, he should have been more down, but still. What's going on, Kiwi Lad? Says Andreas, welcome in. That is a yellow card for Curtly Ardense. It's on report. If this gets upgraded to a red, that would be absolutely ridiculous. I'll say that right now. And thanks for the great commentary. But that now means that Marco van Staden, all his hard work that he did down the field, is now going to go right back to that penalty, I believe. And thanks, mate, says Andreas. And he goes down, he wraps around over the shoulders. He's fine. Says Simon, that's a BS call. Says LB, but Ben Whitehouse, the TMO, said that they needed to look at it again. And that is what they have done there. Now, Argentina, they will have themselves the penalty. They have decided to kick for the posts. And we have got their fair yellow. South African player should have lowered his body. I mean, he should have, but at the same time, I was still looking for the head contact. It looked like, to me, Mateo Carreras had his hand up, and it hit him there, and then it was actually his own hand that hit him in the head. I'm still searching for the head contact, says Jaden Philander there. That's like a knock-on call against the ABs last night. TMO shocking lately, says Josh. And now lining up this kicker will be Thomas Albanoz. And really says in a line, a yellow card for South Africa early on in this game. Oh, the ball's fallen off the tee for Thomas Albanoz, but he's still got plenty of time, 24 seconds to put it back on. We should donate a few million, says Tomo. That would be appreciated. Now, currently sitting 18 minutes into this contest, Thomas Albanoz. And he has missed it away to the left, away to the right-hand side. And show the game, sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or any match footage audio would get us taken straight off YouTube. As you will notice, there are quite a few other streams that have already been taken down off YouTube who have tried to show the game. And unfortunately for some of them, they will probably end up getting sued, possibly put in prison. So we don't really want to go to prison. Even though I am dressed for court, like I said earlier on, I don't really want to go there. But Argentina claiming that one. Thomas Albanoz goes for the up and under. And one's gone straight out on the full. A bit of a poor kick from him there. And even though I can't watch the game, I believe in the gents got the bock. And show us game. Ones don't care, says Rafika. And are you guys dumb? Can't show match on YouTube, says Jam and Bread. Yeah, unless it's the official broadcaster on YouTube, there is no match footage that anyone can show other than the highlights afterwards, but they are all from the official broadcasters. Do put them up. That one's going to be nicely claimed by Argentina, but then it is knocked on by the South Africans, so there will be a scrum now to the Pumas. Interest for court, says Anthony. And you don't go to prison, says Enrico. It depends on what country you're in. Certain countries for copyright infringement, you can get sued about $25,000, which we do not have. And I don't think the ones who are asking for the game would give us the money to pay those legal fees. Oh my heavens, these bloody refs, says Michelle. And we have there people be grateful for being able to listen to live commentary, says Heaney there. Yeah, anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are back for every game of the Rugby Championship. Are you Australian? I am not, no. But now scrum feed. Argentina do have the put-in this time. Last time that it was the Springboks who did have the put-in. They did have a very dominant scrum. We have got there, it's a Bok ding. Search for live streams of the game, and everyone has been struck down, says Eric. There is a reason for that, by the way. It's not just that they're randomly stopping their streams. It's because they're getting copyright struck. Whether that's from Sansa or whether that's from Stan. I think Stan do quite a bit of copyright striking. Are you a Springbok? Says Gazelle. I mean, I enjoy watching the Springboks. I try and be completely impartial throughout the games. Gonzalo Berrano about to feed the ball in for Argentina. After that missed kick, they do still have the trailing by 10. Going to go across to the right-hand side. Berrano goes to Mateo Carreras in behind now. Another attack and play from Argentina. Trying to bump off the tackle attempt to Jesse Creel, and he gets through there. Nice run from Matthias Maroni. Tackled by Lukanyuam. Now has to release him. Berrano going back across to the left. Albanoz finds the hands of Oviedo. I'm still looking through for Pablo Matera. I feel like there might have been a last-minute change. Unless he's out there and we just haven't seen him throughout this game. In fact, there he is. He's out on the wing. Mateo Carreras. He's about to give it to Pablo Matera, and he will score the try. Just as I mentioned, is he even there? He has just struck for the Pumas, and they have got themselves another, ladies and gentlemen. Pablo Matera, the Springboks down by a man, left a big gap on the outside on Kurtley Arns's wing, and Pablo Matera manages to strike. Just going in behind, great Stella dummy, a high tackle from Andre Pollard in the build-up anyway, so they possibly would have gone back. Mateo Carreras is really making it difficult at the moment. And we have got there, he heard you and showed you where he was. Yeah, he pretty much, that couldn't have been any worse timing for me. And your pronunciation is great. Thank you very much. And we have got there, get in your beauty, says Eric. Now Argentina getting back into this contest. The score is now going to be, with this kick, going over 14 points to 17. They have done exactly what they did up against the Australians. But this time to the Springboks, there are gaps in that defence that aren't normally there. Of course, a yellow card will help with that. And we have got there, are you from the UK? I am not, no. And try, says Heaney. So now 14 points to 17, 22 minutes in. Springboks just walking up to halfway. Like I mentioned, extremely hot at the moment at the ground. South Africa needs to defend, says the Gazelle. And Pumas break that Bok D line. Yeah, I mean, Mateo Carreras is making it look easy, which is a massive credit to that man. But now running this one forward, it is Santiago Shocha Barres, tackled inside of the 22. Oxnashare wanted the turnover. Now back into the pocket to Juan Cruz Malia. Didn't have the best angle to be able to work with, but he has done a very strong kick. Apelele Fassi will not take it quickly. There's so many Springbok legends missing for this game, says Brunet. And sorry guys, says Rafika, and come on the box, says Gary. And Springbok play harder and concentrate, says it was there from Rizal. Our line out throw, Malcolm Marks. Still another 4 minutes remaining of Kurtley Arendse's yellow card, the controversial yellow card, I should mention, overthrown by Marks, but it finds the hands of Makazole Mapimpi. Now Lucanio arm, tackled low by Santiago Shocha Barres. Looks like a little kick in behind from Kobus Reinach. Tried something fancy, no one was chasing, and it's given the possession straight back to Argentina. Burrano goes across to Juan Cruz Malia. Wanted the 50-22, but beautifully controlled at the back by Andre Pollard with some football skills. Kicks it high. Apelele Fassi chasing after it. It's going to be competitive in the air, but Juan Cruz Malia takes it well and also ends up bending his ankle in an awkward manner. Taken back by Argentina. Albanoz sees open space and he's looking for the 50-22. Pollard is back there to stop it from being so. And then Pollard kicks it into touch to clear the lines. Territory battle at the moment. It's starting to go the way of Argentina, which I don't think we expected. 25 minutes gone. Well controlled at the back by Andre Pollard, who is having to play quite a kicking-orientated game so far. We have got their Wiseman Pimpi playing tonight. The guy must enjoy his bloody honeymoon, for goodness sake, says Morse. Now going off to the right-hand side. Backline looking sharp for Argentina yet again. Kicked in behind. Good chase coming from Bautista Del Gui. Loose ball. Both men playing it on the ground. I think Argentina knocked that one on. In fact, no, the Springboks have knocked it on, and it's a penalty going the way of Argentina. Burrano wanted it quickly. Lucanio grabbed that ball on the ground to make sure that they weren't going to be able to do so. Need to find control of this game. The box slow it down, says Ethan. And you're honestly our only hope right now. Thank you for the commentary, says Kamo. Thank you very much for being here. Once again, I know that a lot of people want to be able to see the game, but due to licensing, any match footage gets us taken straight off YouTube. We have been doing the commentary on the channel for a very long time. We covered every game of the Rugby World Cup. But yeah, hopefully the highlights will be able to live up to the expectation of this contest. But 25 minutes in, Argentina have decided to kick for the corner rather than going for the 3. They have decided they want the full 7. Please tell us where you're watching. I'm watching on Sky Sport 1 here in New Zealand. Now ready to throw it in. Julian Montoya. Can Argentina take the lead here? Now, of course, that would not mean everything, though, because Argentina many times in the past have led at halftime to go on to lose. Joel Scalavi's over, and the Pumas take the lead up against the Springboks. But like I was just saying, many times in the past, they just want to check this foot to see if it's in touch, so we won't put that try on just yet. But Joel Scalavi, the big man, yeah, they're going to check this foot. I honestly did think he was in touch. If I'm being honest, it looked like they were a little bit too tight to the sideline. There is a good chance that it wasn't touched, but you know what? We'll put him on just for now, just to make him get that acknowledgement. Right, they're going to check it upstairs. Box missing some level heads, namely CM Peter Steph. I'm watching from Cape Town, says Gary. Oh, someone's got a laser and pointing it in Christoph Ridley's face, I just saw. Here we go. We're going to see the replay. Was the foot in touch? Time at the moment. We are 26 minutes through this game. About to see it here. Who had the... Oh, that's very hard to tell whose feet are whose in that situation. But I think he was in touch. It's a great finish from Joel Scalavi, that is for sure. But I don't know if this one's going to count. I think his foot was down already, and then he threw it back in. just in super slow motion. I think that foot was planted before he offloaded it over the head. This angle's not really going to show it because it's very... Oh, no, fair play. He's actually got that away. From that angle, it looked like he did get it just in time. We're going to see a replay here, though. He got that away. That is a try for Joel Scalavi, ladies and gentlemen. What the hell is happening, says Tyrone. Tell you what, we've got a high-scoring game on our hands. That is for sure. We're just going to see the replay again here. Once you work out what feet, yeah, he got it away perfectly. And you look at the right boots. That's the main thing. So he's got it. Then he offloads it. Yeah, no, he's fine in terms of that offload. Ball went out before his foot touched the line. Says Heaney. Well, it depends on what they consider as out, doesn't it? Because it's going to be the on-field decision as try. And how you doing, lads? I hope you're well, says Pat Drake. Doing very well, mate. And guys, come down, ball squad. Coming second half, game changes when Quagga comes on. That is very true. Quagga Smith, an impact player and a half. Eldrick Lowe, also going to be making his way off the bench. Joel Scalavi, great finish to just go over the top of Makazole Mapimpi. 3 tries while the Kurtley Ardensa is out with a yellow card. Sears Morse. Is it 3 or... I think it's only 2, isn't it? Or is it... No, it's only 2. I believe Mateo Carreras got that first one before Ardensa was off of the field. There's only 14 seconds left and he scored it in the 14th and we're up to 27 minutes. I'm watching from South Africa, says Clement. Thank you very much for being here. Anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. You're the worst commentator. Focus on the game and don't talk trash, says Nicole. Well, currently the game, we're getting replays of the same try that we just explained. So until they are kicking off, we were going to read the chat. But now it has been kicked off by South Africa. Nicely claimed by Argentina inside of their 22 and a big attack and run back from Oviedo. 19 points to 17 currently. Kick downfield from the Argentines up the middle of the field. Upper Lelefasi takes it well. Now runs it back to the halfway line. We'll go for the up and under. Chasing after it hard. Him versus Juan Cruz Malia has been a great battle in the air, but it's going to be knocked on by Upper Lelefasi and then by Argentina. Oh no, they've actually said no knock on from Upper Lelefasi. So it is going to be the scrum feed now for the Springboks. And this will be about 35 metres out. And they're saying it was slapped back by Thomas Albanos and then knocked on by Juan Cruz Malia at the end. Box will win, no doubt, says Helen. Come on, the Pumas. Those Box can't handle you guys. Go the Pumas, says G there as well. Already 28 minutes through this game. It has been absolutely flying by, ladies and gents. 3 tries from Argentina, 2 from the South Africans. And Sia is definitely missing, says Brunet. And also, we have got there, let's go the Bok. And go the Bok, come on. In the chat as well. But Kobus Reinach now feeding the ball in. The scrum has gone down in the front row, but it is going to be play on, says the referee. Jasper Visa gets the ball back from Reinach. Now looking for the pass, and it is going to be a knock on here from South Africa. Just making a few little mistakes. Boxing update, AJ got knocked out. Did he? That's a big upset, isn't it? For AJ to lose. And the game of South Africa will start at 60 minutes, says Stato. And yeah, of course, it's not so much how you start in a game, it's how you finish. Argentina, the last 10 times that they have played South Africa, have been in the lead at halftime on 6 occurrences. Only of those 6, 2 times have Argentina won the game from there. So pretty much you're in the situation of no matter what happens in this first 40, it is what happens in the second 40 that will determine this game. Second half is when our Bok mostly wake up. Hopefully they do, says... Jesus Christ is away, is the name there. And now, going to be feeding this ball in. Gonzalo Berrano going off to the right-hand side to Juan Cruz Malia. Sends it downfield. Upper Lelefasi is there. In fact, as Makazole Mapimpi now goes across to Upper Lelefasi, going with the up and under. Going to be a chance to chase after this one. Oh, drop ball. Fasi hits him. Okay, they've said that it is going to be a penalty to against Upper Lelefasi. Now, that one's slightly unfortunate because I think he believed that the Argentine player was going to catch that ball. He knocked down 4 times as well, says Geza. Wait, he got knocked down or he knocked the other guy down 4 times? And the other card, well-deserved high tackle man, says Andreas. And also we have got there our B team. We'll still make it happen in the second half and rooting South Africa all the way from Namibia. See, here's Martha. Yeah, big shot coming in from Upper Lelefasi on Thomas Albanoz. It's a tricky one because he was committed because he thought that Albanoz was going to catch it. And Albanoz did have his back. This can't be another yellow, can it? No, okay. It's just going to be the penalty. I was about to say this would not be good if we saw another yellow card already. That one's going to be kicked into touch by Argentina. Haven't heard Khaleesi once. That's because he's not playing. Instead, it's Mako van Staden in that number 6 jersey. Khaleesi actually in the coaching box for this match. Where's Mura? To be fair, he's made a few tackles throughout this game and been in quite a few breakdowns. It's one of those ones that he doesn't really get a lot of notability on the streams, mainly because we're talking about the guys with the ball, not the guys who are joining the breakdowns as much. But Pablo Matera now winning that line out for Argentina. They will go across to the left-hand side. Santiago Chochaberez, I should say, trying to get through Honre Pollard's defense. Big shot on Pablo Matera. Bertrano going in behind to Juan Cruz Malia. Getting a little bit isolated out on the left-hand wing. Now nice step from Batista Delgui. Low tackle made by Salman Mura. Now Bertrano going across to the left to Pablo Matera from a standing start. Not really getting a lot of forward momentum, and the penalty goes the way of Argentina again. We've gone from the first maybe 15 minutes or so, definitely going in favour of the Springboks in terms of discipline. Argentina getting penalised flat out, and now it is the opposite. South Africa, the team, getting penalised back-to-back. Now they will once again, I believe, kick this one towards the corner. Yes, they do. They want to extend that lead. South Africa back up to the 15 men on the field, I should mention. Kurtley Arendse has returned from the bin. And it is a good kick towards the corner from Los Pumas. But yeah, in the end, it was Ben Jason Dixon just getting stuck on the wrong side of the breakdown. And 6.6k viewers, not bad. So here's Chris. Yeah, I think it is a record for the Rugby Championship. I think this is the most that we have had viewing. So I do thank you all very much for being here. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are only 400 away from 56,000. So let's try and get there by the time it is halftime. We've only got 7 minutes, but if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're back for the rest of the Rugby Championship as well. But Julio Montoya, 5 metres out from the line. Nicely claimed by Argentina and Pablo Matera. It's going to be taken down by South Africa. It's going to be the penalty advantage. Joel Scalavi running hard at the line. He's just fallen short by half a metre. But Argentina, they are on the verge of scoring again. Thomas Gachot awkwardly put down there. Pablo Matera close, but once again just stopped. Mako van Staden trying to get over the ball, but he's told to release it. Julio Montoya passes across to the side. Desperation. Defence from the box here. But the Pumas, they have still got the position and they still have the penalty advantage as well. Mako van Staden making a nuisance of himself. He's given away another yellow card, another penalty. And he almost got yellow carded there, but the penalty 5 metres out. Another chance for the Pumas to be able to create an attack. And we have got there, man. What an amazing commentary, says Andreas. Thank you very much. 5 metres out for the line. What is the decision now for the Pumas? It looks like they are trying to decide. Thomas Gachot, looks like they're going to go with a tap and go here. 34 minutes through, though, in this contest. Thomas du Toit ready to run forward at Thomas Gachot. The battle of the Thomases. Now it's gone backwards. Gonzalo Bertrano to the short side. Albanoz sells the dummy and he's through. And Argentina will score again. And they have got themselves now the 4th try in this contest. And that is Albanoz, who has managed to score it. They were down by 17 at the start of this game. And now they are ahead by a minimum of 7 points, if not 9 in this one now. Scoring 35 minutes in. The Pumas have come to play, ladies and gents. Early subs, there might be a chance that we see someone like Kaneba Netzebeth make his way onto the field at half-time. We want to try Pumas. Bloody hell, the Pumas, says Neil. And there. Now lining up this kick for Thomas Albanoz. Should be relatively straightforward. Are we playing our 3rd string team? The thing is, overall, yes, there are a few of the guys who wouldn't normally be in the starting lineup, but these guys are still well and truly capable of winning this game for the Springboks. It's just, for some reason, defensively, the gaps have been opening up back to back to back, and that one has gone over 26 points to 17. But once again, I reiterate, the Springboks are often behind up against the Pumas at halftime. 6 of the last 10 times that they have played, but in pretty much every occasion except for 2, the Springboks have come back to win the contest. The last time that they played up against Argentina, the Springboks were down by 7 at halftime. They went on to win by about 10 points, going to the short side. Risky play from Argentina and isolated himself. Get him pushed into touch for Bautista Del Gui, and now it's going to be another line out for the Springboks. Springboks are playing like amateurs. Says Carroll there. Mbok's doing a razor. How's Salman Morat doing? I actually think he's gone all right so far throughout this game. He's made quite a few tackles. He's also been in the breakdowns, protecting the ball for the Springboks when they've got it. And this is a different Puma side, very disciplined and focused, says Ronaldo there. Now getting ready to throw this in, it will be Malcolm Marks. Pablo Matera ready to try and contest, and it's stolen again by Argentina. At the moment, they aren't really putting too many feet wrong throughout this first 40 minutes, and that is a side that conceded 17 points at the start. Now all stolen by South Africa, though, in the breakdown, relentless. I believe that time it was Thomas Detoy. Malcolm Marks tackled well. Thomas Gachot has to make it on him. Pollard, our white Kurtli Arnse. They are 22 metres out from the line at the moment for the Springboks. Oxnishie with the pick and go. Springboks tried protect that ball, and they have done just that. Salman Moura has to catch it behind him from a rough pass of Jesse Creel. 25 metres from the line now. And Jason Dixon considered carrying, but instead leaves it for Reinach to pass to Marks. They've got the penalty advantage already. Reinach tries to grub her in behind. Once again, a poor decision from the Springboks half, and they'll go back for the penalty. At the moment, Reinach, he's not having his best performance. He's forcing things. He's trying to go for miracle kicks in behind that just are not working. Sometimes your best form of attack can just be moving it through your hands in the backline. Definitely when your backline looks like it does for the Springboks. But what is the decision here? Andre Pollard, are they kicking for the corner, or do they take the 3 to get back within the 7? Looks like Rassi is not happy at the moment. He is ranting into his headset. See Khaleesi sitting there, a couple men down going, uh-oh, the coach is angry. Eamon has to come on in the second half. He gives confidence to other players. And AJ got smoked by Dubois. I had to skip over for confirmation. But now, line out again for the Springboks. They have turned down an easy 3 for the chance of walking away with 5 or 7. And 90 seconds remaining in this first half. Their last line out was stolen by Argentina. That one is nicely claimed by Jasper Wiese. Big counter ruck coming, but that is going to be the advantage from the Pumas, and that is another penalty now. Quick tap taken by Cobus Reinach. It's a risk, but he gets the reward, and it's another try for the Springboks. They are back in the contest now. Both of these sides just don't know how to not score in this one. But Reinach making up for his dodgy kick before by scoring the try now in the 39th minute. We are in for a high-scoring thriller here, ladies and gentlemen. An absolute try-fest in Argentina is how to describe it. As Quagga on the bench or playing, he is on the bench, and he will bring a real impact for the Springboks that little bit later on. But that one does hurt Argentina after working so hard to get that big lead for the first half. We see another try scored by the Springboks in the corner. Okay, I think we're just hearing there from Christoph Ridley saying there's quite a competition in the air where the players are bumping into each other, so they just have to keep an eye on that and not get too close to a penalty. And shocking defence both ways, says Trajan. Now lining up this kick for Andre Pollard near the touchline. Got the distance, but he's missed for Andre Pollard. It was quite a tricky one, but that will keep the gap at 4 points between these two sides. South Africa on 22, Argentina on 26. But we are almost at halftime now, ladies and gentlemen. We are not too far away from that halftime break. We have got a super sticker from Geza as well. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated for your super sticker there. Now it's kicked off. Reinach, in fact, this time it's Jasper Wiese claims it. Do the Springboks want to kick this one into touch? It looks like they will. Reinach puts it out. And once again, Argentina at halftime will lead over the Springboks. But like I said, of the 6 times they have led in the last 10, they have only gone on to win 2 games. So, of course, for the Argentines, they will be happy with the fact that they went from 17-0 down to then leading by 4. But this game is far from over. It is going to be an entertaining second half, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we are going to be here for it, as well as the rest of the Rugby Championship. These 2 sides will have a rematch next week in South Africa. And if Argentina can somehow win this game, that game next week will be for the Rugby Championship. Argentina need to be further in front, and they look tired. CSL, to be fair, both of these sides look fatigued. They're playing in 37, 38 degree temperatures. Could be costly missed by Pollard. Says Mark there. It'll be a tough match. It certainly will be, but both of these sides going back and forth at the moment. We got to see 7 tries throughout that first half. That is something you don't see too often in a Rugby Championship fixture. And hear what Rassi saying to the boys, says Gazelle. And Argentina is in form right now. No need to bash our guys. We are playing against a solid team, says Shade. And I should mention, this is the most tries that South Africa have conceded throughout this Rugby Championship. And there is still another half to go. So, you know, they will defensively not be too happy with their performance, but that does not mean that it can't get better in the second half. They've got some brilliant options off the bench, such as Eben Etzebeth, such as going with maybe a Jaden Hendrickse, whereas Pollard is out there. He just missed that last kick. But I think for the South Africans, we never really saw that backline apart from that first 10 minutes. We saw a few nice passes here and there, but overall, the structure went to Argentina. After that first 10, we have got a message from Raw Funder saying they don't know what we know, I believe is what that one is. And the wheels came off big time, and come on, boys. I just wanted to tell the Springboks not to lose hope and fight to win. If Argentina can use their speed and find space, they can win this. Our first half was horrible, says ADE. Second half won't be too far away, ladies and gents. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We had the goal of hitting 56,000 on the channel before the halftime break is over. So we are currently sitting only 300 away. So if you want to help us get there, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. We will get some stats for that first half. How long is the break? Normally about 10-minute break in between the halves. So we've got a little bit of time remaining in which we will be looking up the stats for this game. Never underestimate the Pumas, says Nigel, and Box shockingly poor defense, says Gorilla Dome. And also the discipline has been letting them down throughout this contest so far, just not quite being as clinical as they normally would be when it comes to those breakdowns. But there is still plenty of time, like I said. Everything can change in an instant here. They just have to make sure that they are not giving away those dumb penalties. Even though there weren't that many, like, really irresponsible penalties. That yellow card up against Kurtley Arden, I think that was pretty harsh, to be honest. Didn't really look like the caliber of a yellow card. I really want a Branas. Watch out for the bomb squad, says Shane. And that is where this game, I believe, could be won by South Africa if they are able to come off the bench and change this game around. Etzebeth, Quagga Smith will be on at 50 minutes, says Gavin. And I honestly think that Ben Jason Dixon will be taken off at halftime for Quagga Smith. That is a change that I personally would make. Not to say that Ben Jason Dixon has had a poor game by any means. Like, he's had a couple good moments, but when you look at the situation they're in at the moment, you need Quagga Smith out there on the field to shore up the defence, to bring you an extra guy to get those turnovers. And you think the Rassi not knowing their names spice them up. Sizzling, we need a tighter game in the second half. More scrums, refs need Specsavers, says Ethan. And Etzebeth and Quagga is going to be monumental, says Shade. And Quagga is a beast, says Shade. So yeah, as soon as Quagga's on the field, I feel like momentum will shift in this contest. But looking through at some of the stats for this first half, we saw 4 tries from Argentina, 3 tries from South Africa, 248 metres carried for the Argentines, which was an extra 49 more than the away side, the Springboks. Defenders beaten, 18 for Argentina compared to 7 of the South Africans, 5 clean breaks apiece. Then also quite a few tackles being made, but 18 tackles missed for South Africa gives them only a percentage in the tackling department of around 60% throughout this game. So that is nowhere near high enough by Springbok standard. We have to wait and see whether or not there is a big change in the second half in terms of defensively, whether or not they can get stronger. How's our lineouts? It's been all right, but they have lost one, I believe, so far. And that was when they were on attack. Modern Squad says Helen in this game is for the Bokke. Says Ayanda there. At least kicking them more hand-to-hand. Yeah, I agree. I feel like the Springboks didn't use their backline enough. The two early tries that they got was from great passing. Apalele Fassi scoring the first, Jesse Krill scoring the next one. Please don't put Jan Hendrik on. He has proper AA. He's not a hooker. And please don't put him on. And Veras Villi, he is not playing in this game, although Apalele Fassi has been relatively solid. I feel when it comes to the attack, we haven't really seen him too much in the defensive situations, which is a bit concerning seeing as Argentina have scored the 4 tries. Mapimpi having a shocker, says Mfundo there. And go book. We play a rugby, not soccer, says St. Francis. Maura is as useful. Sits on a ball, says a VG man, and this is the problem. We're used to and prefer being underdogs to hunted, not the hunted. This is a good game to see if we can turn that around. And we have got there, do we get the cup if we win this game? They do indeed. Even a draw in this game would give the Springboks the Rugby Championship. So that is exactly what they will want here. Penalties conceded throughout that first half, 6 against Argentina, 5 against the Springboks, but they did also receive that yellow card of Kutli Aronsa, which ended up being costly. 2 tries scored throughout that 10-minute period. In terms of the line-out, they have just lost to 1, the Springboks, 6 wins for them in that regard, though. In Argentina, they are sitting perfect at the moment, 7 from 7 for their line-out success. And Kwagan Eben will turn the game around, says Sakili there. And the Bokke is the second greatest, Pumas is the greatest. Says G, and our tackling is poor. We need to make more hits, says Mfundo. Yeah, missing 18 tackles in that first half for the South Africans is a number that we're not used to seeing, to be honest. And, you know, it's more so the missed tackles in this game have cost them big time. Normally, if they miss a tackle, it's not the end of the world because someone else is there ready to make that next one. But there's been a lot of open gaps. I think that's down to the pace that Argentina are attacking at throughout this match. But looking through at some of the other stats, I believe Albanos has had the most running meters out of any player. Oh, no, sorry. It's actually Mateo Carreras. He has had 58. He's had 1 defender beat and 1 clean break, and he has also scored himself a try. Shoka Perez, also a very notable first half. He was extremely strong for the South Africans. In terms of numbers, Apalele Fassi has got 64 meters carried. The next highest is Jesse Krill with 36. And then looking at the tackles, 8 made by Lucio Cinti, which is the most for any Argentine player. In terms of the numbers for the South Africans, the most tackles that we have seen made out of all the South African players goes to Salman Moura. He has made 3 more than anyone else. I know people have been criticising him in this game, but he's actually had a solid performance in the first half. He's managed to win a majority of the lineouts. He's also got into a lot of breakdowns, and he's made a lot of tackles compared to the rest of his teammates. He's only missed 1, which is much better than Reinach, who's missed 3. Mapimpi's missed 3. 2 for Van Staden, 2 for Nokia, 2 for Marks, all missing. But Salman Moura just missing the 1. And the Boks don't need to lose hope and fight to win and make South Africa proud in there. And we have also got there your tight forwards game in the second half. Slow down the breakdown. If we do that, we will win, says Ethan. And the Boks go, says Savokili. Hopefully I've said that correctly. And go the Boks, says Helen in there too. But do let me know your in-score predictions for this contest, ladies and gentlemen. We are not too far away from the second half starting up. So if you are new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for these matches. We have got the Rugby Championship coming next week as well. Quagga Smith, you are needed. I agree. I think Quagga Smith for Ben Jason Dixon, although the problem that they've got is Ben Jason Dixon last game had a poor performance. So it would be pretty harsh on him to take him off early because of a lackluster game here. But it might be the right move. It might be the only thing that helps South Africa find that momentum early on in the second half. Rush defence needs work. Tuaji tries from outsmarting us in the back line, says Lionel. And Morata's good captain, leave him on, says Derek there. Yeah, it's actually a little bit tricky because, like, normally people are very keen to get Morata off the field. But, like, he's actually been solid in this game. And I feel like he does deserve a little bit of credit. Can we just beat these guys so I can go to sleep? Says Raw Thunder. And we have got there, if I lose my bet, I will scream, says Hanzo. And also Goma Pimpy, says Tint Swallow. in there as well. But also do let me know who you think will be the first try scorer in the second half. Probably missing the defensive skills of Dialendi. And I love Argentina, says Ruben, and we don't have the great depth that we think we have, says Aaron Smith. I do think that also a bit of credit does need to go to Argentina here, though. Like, yes, people can say that maybe the Springboks haven't performed the way that they thought, but Argentina have been extremely solid throughout this game. Like, some of their tries that they have scored throughout this fixture have been world class. So, yes, South Africa maybe haven't quite had the game that they would have wanted, but I don't necessarily think that they've had like an awful performance in terms of some of their players have stepped up. I would say in terms of the South African side, we've seen a great game so far from Jesse Krill, I feel has looked strong. Apalele Fasi at the back, but then defensively, that's where the question mark comes in of whether or not they've done enough in that regard. But second half, getting very close. Argentina play fun rugby. They make us play fun rugby also, says Mel. And bro, forgot the Bible squad, says Thato. And Peter Steff is not playing in this game. He did not travel to Argentina with the side, but I can guarantee you if this result does continue the way that it is at the moment, he will be playing next week. And true, the RGs are bringing it. And if Argentina beats South Africa this week and next week, what happens for the Rugby Championship? So it all depends a little bit in terms of how badly they would beat them, right? So currently there is a difference of 8 points between Argentina and South Africa. So that means for South Africa to lose the Rugby Championship, Argentina would have to beat them in both games and also in one of those games score 3 or more tries than the South Africans. So that will be extremely challenging to do. They could also, well, it could also come down to points differential, but I don't think it would in that regard. So Argentina pretty much need a massive win where they score 3 or more tries than their opposition, and then they also have to beat them in South Africa as well. So it's a mountain to climb, but it's certainly going to be a decent effort by the looks of it from the Pumas here. It's 90-minute games, go the Springboks. Well, it's 80 minutes, but yes, exactly right. And Box C team, not exactly like this backline. Kobus Reinach, Hondre Pollard, Makazole Mapimpi, Lucanio Arm, Jesse Krill, Kurtley Arendse, Apalele Fasi. I think that is far from a C team, if not even like I wouldn't even call it a B team backline for these South Africans. They have looked decent at times, but just not quite as clinical as you would normally expect. Halftime, says Delvin. It certainly is. Puma's making a good effort of it, though, yeah. Like, Argentina deserve a lot of credit for the way that they have played throughout this game. Mateo Carreras has been strong. Gotta love some of your responses to the comments. So funny, says Chad. And no, mate, Argentina can win the championship if they win 2 games, says Franz. Is it not down to points differential, though, Franz? Or is it just based off how many wins you have? I have to look at all the situations, but I believe the Springboks, no matter what, cannot receive 1 bonus point from those games, or else Argentina would have to win both games with 5 points on the board. And Marnie needs to show him again. And remember, the rule is head-to-head, says Franz in there. One moment, I will go like this, and I will go like that as well. So the tiebreakers are the wins, the head-to-heads. Yes, you are correct. And then it goes to points difference. So theoretically, yeah, so Argentina, if they won both games up against the Springboks, but they would also have to stop South Africa from scoring any form of points. What's going on, mate? Just saw the scoreboard. It has been a high-scoring game between these two sides. It looks like they are just making their way out of the tunnel now and getting ready for the second half. It is going to be, once again, I hope, high-scoring between these two sides. We are lifting the trophy, says Stato. And, of course, if South Africa win this game or draw it, they will be walking away with the Rugby Championship for 2024. And disgusting SABC Sport are not showing the game. But boy, oh boy, we have to pay TV license, says Trudy. See, that does seem very rough. The fact that SABC customers don't get the game and it has to be through DSTV. Linda wants some sex after the game. Interesting. As to your team will lose today, says G. I would really add to the competition if Argentina could win it. Says Geza, it would certainly be an upset and a half because not too many people at the start of this competition would have anticipated Argentina having the performance that they have so far. But Jesse Krill talking to his teammates, one of the more experienced heads out there, he has to fire them up and try and help them towards the victory. Now, ready for the second half. Both sides are back out on the field, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to go for this fixture. It's taking me back to the days of Hugo Porter. Says Fricky there. And when is Eben coming in? I don't think he'll be too far away. It looks like they haven't actually made any changes here for the South Africans, though. They have decided to keep that same lineup. It's a bit of a risk, but at the same time, I can understand why they're doing it. I would say Ben Jason Dixon probably going to be the first man to go while struggling lineouts. I wouldn't say that they're struggling at lineouts. They lost one of their 7. So, that's pretty decent overall, I would say. I'd say that the rolling maul maybe hasn't quite been as effective as they would have liked throughout the game. But, lineouts haven't been bad. They've only lost the 1, and that was from one that was overthrown. But now, ball claimed by Argentina inside of their own 22. Still plenty of time remaining in this game for the Boks to be able to get back into it, only down by the 4 points. Chasing after this one, Apalele Fasi running onto it nicely, and might try and start the second half in the exact same fashion as he started the first, and that is by scoring the first try. Jasper Wiese attacking well. Reinach going across there to Thomas de Toy. Argentina, they haven't got a huge amount of turnovers in the breakdown. It's actually been the Springboks' own errors that have been costing them. Now Reinach looking both ways, goes across to Oxnische, who manages to break through one tackle. Now Reinach again going off to Malcolm Marks, tackled low and high. Just good phase play at the start of this half. Pollard goes in behind, short ball to Jesse Creel, who is shut down early. Argentina almost able to get themselves that turnover. Off to Moura, slapped down by Argentina. But it's going to be just the knock on by the looks of it, as it was in the process of a tackle. Reinach going to the right-hand side. Jasper Wiese. Now off to Oxnische, the big man. Moves to only 10 metres out from the try line. Reinach going short side. Goes to Pollard, who is picked up and dropped by 2 Argentinians. Back again to the left-hand side. Great phase play from the Springboks, persisting with the attack, not doing anything too risky. Moura with a short ball to Ben Jason Dixon. Now again, Reinach goes short to Mako van Start in Argentina, trying to get the turnover, but they haven't been able to get it as of yet. Going in behind to Andre Pollard. Now Apalele Fasi. Great step forward. 10 metres from the try line. Reinach deciding what way to go. Goes across to Thomas de Toy. And it's a new advantage. Not rolling away against Argentina, so exactly what the Springboks were after. Reinach going across to Pollard with a little soft pass. Bounced before it reached Lucanio arm, and they will go back for the penalty. Is this where we see South Africa go crazy and try and kick for the corner? Or is this where we see them take on the 3 points and close the margin? They had a lot of attack there, but they weren't able to get through. You can have the performances of your life. Sport will always be manipulated, says Henry. This is what rugby is about. Good job, Argentina, but the Boks are taking this one. It's like the boot is going to be put back on by Jasper Wiese. Running that hard at the opposition that it flew straight off. But this is where we will see the 3 points taken by South Africa. They are playing the long game. They know that if they can get close, they are backing their bench to be able to make the difference in the later stages of the game. Big celebrations for Lucanio Arm. Can get himself a try here. Jesse Creel already got himself one. We've already seen Apalele Fasi get one also. Pollard sitting 3 from 4. This one a nice easy kick, taking as much of the 60 seconds as he can just to help his team recover from that intense phase play. But that one has gone over. 25 points to 26 now. It's a 1 point game. Etzebeth looks like he is warming up at the moment. Oh no, he was standing up. Now he is sitting back down. Not quite ready for Etzebeth. As soon as he makes his way onto the field, though, he will become the tied most capped Springbok of all time. The bomb squad says Helen there. Great to see rugby for Argentina holding up well against the world champions. That one's going to be kicked out on the full from Argentina. Unfortunately, just making a silly error there off kickoff. They're going to be disappointed with it, and now it gives the scrum to South Africa on the halfway line. How long? You've been commentating sport for, Hamish. You're doing a great job, bro, says Jim. We've done it almost 4 years, I believe, on the channel. We did the whole of the Rugby World Cup. Sadly, didn't get to do the one in 2019. But we've got plenty more that we are doing. Hopefully, the 2027 Rugby World Cup, we will still be here doing the commentary as well. Now on the halfway line, scrum feed for South Africa. This is exactly the momentum shift that they were after from that first half. Now they have to make the most of it. No sleep, mate. Covered Shark also, says Bhavani. Yeah, well, this is our 4th live stream of the day that we have done. We did the New Zealand versus Australia game. We did Fiji versus Japan, the Curry Cup final, and now this one. We're into our 10th hour of commentary for the day. So somehow my voice is still working, but I don't think it will be as soon as I stop talking. What a close game, says Hanoi. Hey, ref man, watch RGs. I want rest if collapsed, says Ethan. Do you have a full-time job, Amish? Says Chris. I do indeed, outside of the YouTube. YouTube, just me hobby at this point. But we do a lot on the weekends of the YouTube side of things, and also videos all throughout the week. So anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Free kick goes the way of South Africa. That's not exactly the best case scenario. Oxen Share not happy with it, because this now means that South Africa either have to take the tap or they have to just go with the big up and under. When are you collaborating with 2 Cents? We've actually already collaborated on a live stream before. Myself, 2 Cents, and Distracted Sports. Going to be knocked back by Kutli Aronsa, but picked up by Thomas Albanos. Almost went through, but Malcolm Marks manages to drag him down. Now into the pocket. Booting this one downfield. It is a danger when you give it to the back 3 that South Africa have got, but Pollard is the man who receives it. Upper Lelefasi chasing after it. Normally solid under the high ball, but a slap back onto the side of the Pumas, who now look for the offload. Knock on. Or was it? No, it is all right. So it's going to be Reinach with the ball. Goes to Upper Lelefasi. Puts the kick in behind. Beautiful save. You could say from Juan Cruz Malia. Took it like a goalkeeper. And now kicking it into open space. Back in behind. Looking for the 50-22. Pollard has time to retreat. Oh, he's had a bit of an error. And he's almost pushed it a touch. Running this one forward now for Andre Pollard. Now inside of the 22. Ben Jason Dixon with a bit of a stalling run there to try and slow the game down and get that man into position for the big kick downfield. Reinach now, he will be the man who does just that. Kicking it out. Was it? Out on the full there? No, he must have been just inside of the 22 for Reinach. And the Box don't find the game. How's your energy levels? Commentating over different time zones, says Metric. I'm not doing too bad at the moment, energy-wise. I did think I would be a lot more tired at this point, to be fair, seeing as it's, like I said, the 10th hour of commentary. We've been up for a pretty long time. I think almost up to 24 hours with a 30-minute nap in between. And take off Pollard, bring on Marnie, says Bien there, and I love cricket, says Evil Kicks again. And bring in the bomb squad, please. But now Eben Etzebeth, he has made his way on. That is for Salman Murat. And same with Marnie Libok. He is now out there. Trying to look to see if there are any other changes that have been made for the Springboks. Vincent Koch is on the field as well. And that line out is taken well by Argentina. Only on the halfway line, they've got the penalty advantage. Now rolling this. Why are they kicking this one? I feel like if you got penalty advantage, they should at least be going for it here. But instead, it's going to go high. Knocked on by Kutli Aronsa. And they will now go back for the original penalty. No, they won't. Okay, so they had advantage. Christoph Ridley decided because that was a kick that they lose that. So a really dumb play from Argentina that will now result in a Springboks line-out. Making a crucial error there rather than trying to run it. It's going to be the South African ball now. Brandon Coke will help you, says Nigel. And also Etzebeth, says Lee. And I got Libok is on, says Mark. And great commentary. You should take it up professionally, says Kirakava. Thank you very much. Nicely claimed by Ruan Nokia. Oh, that's a rough pass. And great hands from Eben Etzebeth. Almost had to do it as a diving catch. Marnie Libok looking for the up and under. Going to be contestable. Makazoli Mapimbi getting down there, but he has not quite got to the ball. Instead, Juan Cruz Malia claims that counter-attack coming from the Springboks. Vincent Koch knocks it on. No, the penalty goes the way of the Box here for no release on the ground. And now they'll have the opportunity to take 3 that would then give them the lead in this game. Where is this match happening, in Argentina or South Africa? It is happening in Argentina for this matchup. Quality replacements, a very strong bench. Right, here we go. Marnie Libok for his first kick in quite some time for the Springboks. He will be aiming at the posts. This is going to be interesting, even for the hat-trick. Says Katima there. And Kurt Lee, I find your rhythm, you're a great player, says Clifford. And Oswego, their money is going to miss, says Amy. And Pollard not kicking, says Giza. Pollard has been taken off the field, I believe, for Mani Libok. I don't think he is still out there. I think it was a straight swap. Pollard did look a little bit, I don't want to say injured, but he did look like he was a little bit fatigued when he ran back to try and grab that ball earlier for the box. Now Mani Libok, is he going to get this kick over? Is he going to be able to add for the Springboks in a moment that matters hugely for the outcome of this game? Steps up to the tee and kicks it just over the posts. So that is now going to make the score 28 points to 26. The Springboks take the lead back. Why take Polly off? I think he wasn't injured per se, but I think he was feeling the heat. At the end of the day, it's 37 degrees Celsius where they are playing. It's probably even hotter out there on the field. And Pollard, he had to run all the way back to claim that one, and it looked like he was only really jogging. So I think he was feeling the heat a little bit. Now, kicking this one off. Nicely taken. Inside of the 22, Ruan Nokia just getting thrown at the opposition by his Springbok lifters. Now Rainak will put this ball back and does send up the up and under. It is contestable, beautifully taken by Juan Cruz Malia. Makazole Mapimpi asking for the penalty for obstruction, but it is going to be play on now, going off to the left-hand side. I should mention the Argentines have made the change of Garcia, who is now playing as the halfback. He's also milked the penalty advantage. Albanoz looking for a gap, and there's going to be obstruction, so they will go back for the original penalty. We have got there, brother. You please tell us position of the kicks on the field. So that one for Mani Libok was about 40 metres out. And this one now for the Argentines, if they decide to kick for the post, will be about 47 out. Looks like an injury here already for Santiago Carreras. He has only just made his way onto the field for Batista Del Guy, and they might have to take him back off here if he's unable to continue in this game. It would be one of the shortest stints out there on the field for an Argentine player. Go the box, here's Tyrone. Should mention anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 56,000 and we are less than 200 away. So if you do want to help us get to that 56,000, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are currently 52 minutes through the match. 28 points to 26 is the way that the scoreline sits. And Argentina have decided that they want to take on the 3 points here. All throughout the first half, they were willing to go for the corner. But in this case, it would seem like now they've decided that the 3 points are the better option to keep that lead as close to the end of the game as they can. Now getting ready to line this kick up. Albanoz, he struck it well, but it's gone away to the right-hand side, so unsuccessful in the attempt. We'll now make it 26 points to 28 still. Psychological, says Andreas. Can you please ask Rassi where is Cheslin? He is back in South Africa. He will be playing in the second match, though, up against Argentina, who is acting as captain for South Africa. I would say Ebenezebeth would have been the straight swap for captain with Salman Murat. Now kicking it off high. Knocked on by Argentina. Oxnishir now. Getting a little bit of open space. Rainak goes in behind to Mani Libok. Great pass on the outside. Finding the hands of Quagga Smith. He's an impact player and a half, and he is on the field now for Ben Jason Dixon. Rainak goes across to Malcolm Marks, breaks through one tackle, but is unsuccessful in breaking through the second. Mani Libok finds the pass to Lucanio Arm, flicks it out the back door to Makazolema Pimpi. Argentina's defence has been extremely solid, missing a lot less tackles. Ebenezebeth tries to hurdle over the Argentine defence. Rainak goes across to Jasper Visa. Great physicality being shown by both teams. Libok goes to Upper Lelefasi. Skip past, looked like it drifted forward. Straight in front of the referee, though, and he does say, play on. Now, Kobus Reinach looking to the short side. Well shut down by Argentina. The ball is out the back. Upper Lelefasi that was playing the ball on the ground from Juan Cruz Malia could have been penalised for it. Garcia kicks it in behind. Waiting for this one at the back. It is Mani Lerbach who fires it across to Kurtli Arnsa, who has a huge amount of open space to try and run through, but he runs straight at a player instead and sits down Garcia. Looks like he's a little bit wobbly as well. Hasn't quite got back up to his feet. Got rocked in the challenge. Springboks 40 metres out from their own line. Another big run from Oxnishir. Now going back into the pocket here. And again, Mani Lerbach will kick it high for the Boks. They are still ahead by the 2 points. Juan Cruz Malia asking for the penalty, and he does receive it. Obstruction and a push in the chase. We have got there, is Detoy playing? He is indeed Thomas Detoy. If you're talking about Peter Steph Detoy, he is not playing in this game. You're doing very well with the commentary. Keep it up. Says Frederick. Thank you very much, mate. And anyone who is new, of course, like I mentioned, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are almost at that 56,000. Looks like a couple changes are about to be made for Argentina. Bit slow getting back up to his feet was Joel Scalavi. Both sides certainly feeling that heat that they are playing in. Kurtli Arnsa just sits down Garcia. I think Garcia almost got his head on the wrong side. Probably a little bit lucky not to end up with a concussion. We saw one earlier on. Ruan Finta ran straight at the Sharks. Ended up knocking a man out. It was Emil van Heeren who got sat down. Just subscribe to Shumani. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Great commentary, says Andreas. Thank you very much as well. Looks like the sub is about to be made. Franco Molina will go off for Guido Petty, and Pablo Matera will be taken off for Juan Martin Gonzalez. This game's getting closer and closer, 25 minutes away from the finish. The penalty did go the way of Argentina for a push. How do I watch the game? It is on DSTV. It is on Sky Sports, Stan Sport. Peacock, I believe, also do have this game, but with only 25 minutes remaining, if you do want to see the highlights after the game, it will be up on the Rugby Championship YouTube channel. Great name pronunciation for both teams. Says Lali Lali, thank you very much. An excellent commentary, says Dalvine there. Argentina will have themselves the line out, 30 metres out from the line. And at the moment, I mean, Julian Montoya, he's had a solid enough performance here. He's asking about the illegal links, bro. See, deep sport, how much time? There's still 25 minutes left, and well claimed by Guido Petty, although it wasn't contested. Now passing off to Santiago Shoja, but it's hit hard by Lucanio Arm. Garcia, inside ball, beautifully done by the Pumas here. Now Garcia again, looking to go the other way, to the left. A lot of space opening up. Here comes Quagga Smith. No, he's been taken out of the breakdown. Joel Scalavi going to continue in this game, even though he was feeling the heat. He did knock that ball on. They've missed it in the breakdown. Now chipped in behind, and he's going to kick it out. In fact, they have now spotted that knock on. The South African commentators were not happy with them missing that one. I can tell you that right now. No spark, no intensity, nothing, just poor defence. And the Boks don't suck, they play. Says Helen. Can the side chat stick to English, says Stefano? I mean, you can read the English ones and just let them chat in Afrikaans or Xhosa. But, like, you don't have to be able to read every message, you know? And Boks very poor today, says Gorilla Dome. Feel sorry for the motorists stuck in the snow. And I partied hard and missed my morning jog. Now Hamish won't let me sleep, says Cool Story Bro. And position on the field at the moment for the South Africans, they will be about 38 metres out from their own line. Jaden Hendrickse now has also made his way on. And Eldrick Lowe is also out there for, I think it's Mako van Staden. Big scrum coming from the bomb squad, and that is a clear advantage to the Springboks. Now it's scrum time. Mani Lerbach passes on the outside to Lucanio Arm, tries to break through the Argentine defence, has knocked it on, so they will go back for the original penalty. And thanks, brother, says Ryan, no worries at all. Like I said, anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are very, very close to that 56,000, so if you do want to help us get there, it is heavily appreciated. We got plenty more coming. The Rugby Championship just around the corner. The last round, that is. And we have got the Pollard still on. Pollard has been taken off. In fact, a lot of the guys have already been replaced. No Pollard anymore. They've also decided to bring on Quite a few of their forwards. Kobus Reinach no longer on. Morat not on. Thomas de Toy taken off. And we have there my heart, lungs, kidney, and toe, says Curtis. And also, how many minutes left, sir? At the moment, there are still another 22 minutes remaining. The Springboks have got themselves the line out. Go, Mark, go. So it's old teamer. Oh, Upper Lele Fussy slapping an Argentine hand. There was something said between those two. I think that there's a bit of tension. This Pumas side have certainly contested well throughout this game. Malcolm Marks throws it in, and it's stolen by Argentina. And that one was going straight to Eben Etzebeth. So that is a great steal for the Pumas, who have kicked that ball in behind. It's going to pull up just short of the goal line. Upper Lele Fussy knows the best thing to do is kick that ball out, and now Argentina have themselves the line out from 30 out. This game is too much, and great commentary in there as well from Daniel. And I've had my Bravles on the grill now. Says Springbok in 20 minutes is out. And Box supporters. Says Derek there. Why am I awake for this right now? Says ERL. Of course, it's actually 12:35 for you guys in South Africa. Who's the captain for the Box? At the moment, it is Eben Etzebeth, knock on from Garcia. And that is the last thing Argentina wanted. Definitely after such a hardly or a toughly contested line out. Etzebeth was right there trying to get that turnover. Line outs and breakdown has suffered as a result of this expansive play. Carreras is scary quick, says Tyler. Yeah, and he's a powerhouse as well. He's not the biggest guy out there on the field, but he can certainly sit down a lot of guys in front of him. Says George. I assume that's how you say it. Anyway, great commentary as always. Says greatness. Rashi should not put his son-in-law, or should put his son-in-law some game time. Says Francis. Joel Scalavi will make his way off Pedro Delgado to make his debut in the game like this. That is going to be make or break for the youngster, who was the starting captain. It was Salman Murat, who had a solid game. He did make a lot of tackles, the leading tackler throughout that first half, joining a lot of breakdowns for the Springboks as well. But now they have Etzebeth out there. He's now tied for the most caps with Victor Matfield. Big scrum from the Springboks again. And they get the penalty advantage. Lucanio Arm going in behind to Mani Libok. My voice is starting to give out. It is well done by Makazole Mapimpi till he just dropped that ball on his foot. The advantage will be over. Charged down by Mapimpi. Picked back up by Argentina. It's gone backwards. They've gone into touch. That is relentless from the Springboks. And we have got there Quagga, a.k.a. wrong turn. We have got there Hamish. Read this message and have a 5-second break, catch your breath, says George there. And first time listening to your commentary, loving it, says Philip. Thank you very much. And Benjamin, thank you very much for becoming a member of the channel. You now have access to the exclusive emojis as well. Makazole Mapimpi almost scoring down the wing. You might need a breakfast beer, mate, says Chad. Yeah, the voice is struggling a little bit. Oh, we are very blurry. Hello. We are still blurry. Hello. There we go. They're now back into the pocket. The Pumas kicking it downfield. Makazole Mapimpi waiting for this one. And now we'll be able to run the ball back on the halfway line. Go straight through Mapimpi. 40 metres out. Jaden Hendrickse goes to Jesper Visa. They've got the Pumas scrambling in defence. Now that is where the Springboks will be at their most dangerous. There's also the injury for Marcus Kremer, so it's going to be 14 on 15. And then driven towards the touchline by Mateo Carreras was Kurtley Aronsa. Hendrickse back across to Ox Nishier again. Now, Jaden Hendrickse has that ball available, goes to Mani Libok. They will have to stop because of where Marcos Kremer is. This actually benefits the South Africans because they are in the position where they will get a scrum now. You are a great commentator, Hamish. Always putting in the hard yards. Thank you, says Brett. Of course, we are going to be back next week for 2 more games of the Rugby Championship. We get chicken after you, says George Meyer. And there's, sadly, the chicken place is closed on a Sunday here in the small town, unless the second chicken place is now opened up. Possibly, and Hamish, you've had no break, says Chloe Scrum again. Yes, man. Mincemeat. And where is LaRue? We need LaRue. He is back in South Africa. He will be playing in the second match, I would assume. And then also the same with the likes of Cheslin Colby, Peter Steph the Toy. What are your thoughts on the last tackle last night with Artie and TJ? To be honest, I'd have to look at it again because I can't even remember what one it was. off the top of my head. One more try, then I can rest, says Curtis. There's been some big runs throughout this game. Makazole Mapimpi really coming into his own throughout the second half. Now we have got there, as if I am at the live game, so live it is, says Drekis. And Sharks won Sharks won, Hamish. Do you think they'll win the URC? I think that they'll have a better chance than last year. They've got a lot stronger squad this year. Like, they were stacked for talent for the last competition, but just couldn't quite get there in the end. Marcos Crema still getting more medical attention to that knee. They've already made that change of one. Matan Gonzalez, second place, is operating. Says George in there, and even if we lose, South Africa on top, says pretty crazy. I'm stressed out now, says Sean. And we have got there, Vamos Pumas, Vamos Argentina, says Andreas. But anyone who is new to the channel, of course, like I said, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Your throat's going to be sore. It definitely is. It's going to be brutal tomorrow. But we still have a few videos that we will be filming tomorrow as well, ladies and gentlemen, including our Springboks lineup prediction for the second game. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. What are the permutations with win-loss draw with the games in terms of the championship, says ERL. So at the moment, the Springboks are 4 from 4. Argentina are 2. But if Argentina win this game and the game up against South Africa and stop them from getting a bonus point for being within 7, that is the only way Argentina can win the Rugby Championship. What does the timer say on your side? At the moment, it is 62 minutes into this contest. 62 minutes and 10 seconds. Ignacio Ruiz makes his way onto the field. That is to replace Marcos Crema. We have to finish the series unbeaten. And 8K viewers, awesome, Hamish, says Chris. Yeah, it's greatly appreciated the amount of support that we have had on this live stream. I believe this is our highest numbers for a Rugby Championship game. The only live stream I believe that we've had higher would have been that Rugby World Cup final, if not maybe the semi as well. So anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Like I mentioned, we're on the road to 56,000. We're only 21 away now. So if you do want to be helping us towards that 56K, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. But it is another scrum. Like I mentioned, this actually benefits the Springboks because they should be able to get a penalty advantage from this scrum. Cheslin for man of the match, says Deep Sport. The longest, most stressful match ever, says Curtis. Yeah, the Springboks, they have found dominance in the second half in terms of those scrums. And is it going to do it again? I think it's going to be play on just for now. Now they have got the advantage. Hendrickse will snipe to the short side. Big shot coming in on him. Garcia manages to get the turnover, so they will now go back for the original penalty. I'm subbing, buddy, says Younger. Thank you very much. And also, we got there watching from Papua New Guinea. Great commentating. Go the box, says Isaiah. How much playtime is there still? There's still 17 minutes left in this game, so there is more than enough time for both of these sides to be able to get themselves a victory here. Geordie out of the next test. It looked that way after that knee injury in the last one. Mani Liboki will keep this one towards the corner. This is a little bit surprising, but then at the same time it makes sense because at the end of the day, if the Springboks score now, it's kicked in from Mani Libok, and it's not going to be a successful one. I was about to say, I feel like just taking the 3 would have been smart there because if you get another 3 after that, you're ahead by 8. But the Springboks going for the corner, Mani Libok making the mistake. Unfortunately, that man is already questioned a little bit in terms of whether or not he can keep his spot in the squad. That one will not help. I agree with you, says Andreas. And we have got there, as he related to the Hendrickse, who played 9 in the Currie Cup final. He is related to the 15, I believe, Jordan Hendrickse. And third choice, definitely third choice, says Ethan. Don't cry for Argentina, guys. Up to your place, says Mercier. This is why he's been dropped, says Bill. And we see Oxnishare now make his way from the field. And Gerhard Stenekamp is now on. Currently 15 minutes remaining in this contest. Marcos Crema, some heavy ice on that knee. Garcia now to feed the ball in. Nicely claimed by Argentina. One try here would make this game very interesting. Albanoz looking for the cross kick, taken out a little bit late. Mateo Carreras running out of space, couldn't keep the ball in the field of play. Jordan Hendrickse plays 10. Says Calito, he normally does, but in the Currie Cup final that just happened, he played 15. About 6 hours ago. And Labot can't kick. Says Elise there. I don't look just at Marnie. Says Graham. And Marnie out Sasha's place. Says Ben. Argentina will now have themselves the line out, though, 42 metres out from their try line. Lebok didn't make touch. Yeah, he ended up missing touch, going dead with the ball. How much time of play, says Nolene at the moment? 65 minutes through. The clock was a little bit quick. But now Etzebeth claiming it. Hendrickse goes across to Huaka Smith, Mr. Impact himself. Hendrickse rolling it back. This will be another box kick. Oh, why the hell did I get a Monopoly ad, says Jaden. That is rather strange, isn't it? Was it like Monopoly Go or like the McDonald's Monopoly? So no, that has taken place. Hendrickse throwing the ball forward, trying to do what Kobus Reinach did in the first half, and that is try and create a magical moment, but instead should have just looked to pass it normally. 8.4k viewers, and we all meant to be sleeping, says Chris. And Marnie is bad. And can anybody help me with a link to watch live? I don't have to pay to, says Morgan. I will mention there's only 14 minutes remaining in this game, so at the end, like, the highlights will be up on YouTube, so that would be probably your best bet if you are looking to watch it for free. What's the average territory distribution? Says ERL. If you're asking for the territory stat at the moment throughout that first half, I believe territory is more in favour of Argentina after the first 40, but then South Africa are taking it back a little bit in the second 40 as Argentina haven't quite found that momentum yet. Mane can't kick, always missing, although he kicked the one kick earlier on, just didn't find touch with his last one. Garcia, little popping behind from Argentina. Albanoz goes straight through. Big Fen there. He's got the man on the outside, but he's been ankle tapped. Beautifully done by the Springboks defenders. Now around the side of the breakdown, it is Matthias Maroni, but the scramble defence has to be on point here for the Springboks. Oviedo, tackled by Gerhard Steenekamp. And an advantage going the way of Argentina. They've got a guaranteed 3. That looked like they were considering the drop kick, but they look like they should get a try here if they can continue attacking. Now, Albanoz, it's going to be knocked on this time, and they'll go back for the 3 points. Now, that was a massive ankle tap. Whoever got that for the Springboks just saved a certain try because they had Mateo Carreras on the outside. There was another man on the inside as well. Springboks need points now. And also Pollard was not having an impactful game. Money has actually made an impact despite that mistake. It's like a bit of an injury here again for Argentina. Only South African fans are watching because Argentina know they are going to lose, says Pretty. And we have got there Marks as an impact player. He disappears in full game, says ACDV. Now lining up this kick, it will be Thomas Albanoz, who has had an absolute blinder of a game. He's been finding line breaks flat out. Lacanio missing the tackle. Hendricks are getting knocked down. It was Apalele Fassi who got across and stopped a certain try. And then now giving away the penalty in the breakdown for Gerhard Steenekamp not rolling away. This chat is crazy. Last few months ago, it was around 100 viewers. Says not your everyday cultist. We still have the occasional stream that has the 100 viewers rather than the 8,000. But yeah, this one's been hectic. That is for sure. Is time standing still? It is currently because the scoreboard has not updated, but that kick has gone over from Argentina, and now they do lead 29 points to 28. They are back into the lead here now, ladies and gents. Do you think Argentina has a chance? I think they've got a decent chance in this game. I'll be honest, they've looked good throughout it. South Africa have had some great moments, but they've also looked a little bit shaky when it comes to defence. The bomb squad have made this game a lot closer, though, and a lot less points being scored throughout the second half. Albanoz is incredible. It's his first international season. If so, definitely breakthrough player of the year. I think it's his second, I want to say. I think he was playing last year for Argentina as well. But yeah, he's going to be a really bright option. To keep Santiago Carreras out of the starting lineup tells you he's doing something right. I'm a viewer, Hamish, I count right. You certainly do. Cool story, bro. Bring back Elton Yankees. I think his ban won't allow that. Whereas Sasha, the legend, he is back in South Africa. I think he was nursing a little bit of an injury, but he should be back for the second match. Mani Lebok kicks the ball off in great take from Santiago Carreras. Again, Argentina in possession. Garcia, bit of pressure coming in on Albanoz. Kicks it downfield and is claimed at the back by Mani Lebok. Runs out of options on the short side. Great driving tackle from Argentina. They were looking for the counter-ruck, but well defended by the Springboks in the breakdown. Ruanokia tackled on the halfway line. I'll take Albanoz over Damien McKenzie any day, says Razor Robinson. Kicked again by Hendrickse. Kurtli Arnse chasing this one. He has knocked the ball on. Or at least I thought he did. The referee's going to say play on by the looks of it. And now it's going to be Jan Hendrik Wessels. Now, as long as the Springboks have 2 or 3 phases here, the TMO can no longer go back and check for that knock on. So they have now, in this case, it's just play on. Hendrikse, short ball to Jan Hendrik Wessels, sits down Santiago Carreras, who looks like he may have taken a bad head knock. Makazole Mapimpi was waiting out on the wing, but Mani Libok went short to Upper Lelefasi, who put the ball down as he was running through a gap. Now Argentina, another chance to kick this one downfield. Albanos targets the middle of the field, but the ball bounces up for Upper Lelefasi. 1-on-1, gets around Carreras. Now 25 metres from the line here. Hendrikse going back across to Upper Lelefasi. That was almost the interception. Mateo Carreras, if he held that, that would have been a try for Argentina, but he put it down. It's a knock on. And now it's going to be the scrum for the Springboks, and more than likely this will be a scrum penalty. That is what they've been able to get throughout this game so far. And update the scoreboard. On time, Mr. Commentator, please. At the moment, we are 71.5 minutes through this game. Rua Nokia, a little bit injured, but he has put in an absolute shift out there on the field. How many minutes left? Only the 8.5 minutes remaining in this contest. Someone suggested 60-60 draw result. How about a Bok penalty to bring aggregate to 60 points? Says Eric. And we are the champions, says Mervyn. Only time money was great was when he no-look cross-kick to Kurtley Arendse. Yeah, if Mateo Carreras has held that, that would have been massive. This number 15 is useless. Take him off, says Mike. Hamish has a bit of Scottish accent. When he says Jan Hendrik Wessels, says Tyler. Now scrum feed. There is a lot of nervous energy around the Argentine Stadium at the moment. It is a late night for you guys in South Africa, so of course it's going to be pretty hard to sleep after this game comes to a close. We are going to be covering the game next week for the South Africans, which is taking place at a lot better starting time. Going to be 6 p.m. local. Nokia looks like he will be continuing in this game. Crikey, this is a tight game, says Chris. It certainly is. These minutes are vital, says Chloe. I want to go to bed, says Stokey. And as well, it actually looks like he's going to have to go from the field, Rua Nokia, for a head knock, which does then bring, I believe, Salman Moura has made his way back onto the field now. Please consider placing the ball on the map. Graph for us, your viewers. Says Johannes, we have tried it in the past, but the problem that we have with that is because I'm watching on Sky Sport now, it's slightly more delayed, which means that the ball map normally tells you where the ball is and what's happening before I actually do. So people got annoyed with it the last time we did it, not sleeping until we win. And I need some heart tablets. There's Cassium in there as well. But we are getting very close to the end of this game, ladies and gentlemen. Only 8.5 minutes remaining. The Springboks have got themselves the scrum feed, so it should be a penalty once again. It's a kickable 3 if they get the penalty here. Sitting 30 metres out from the Pumas line. Come on, the Pumas block a week, says G there. Now, Jaden Hendrikse put the ball in, gone down. Oh, free kick to Argentina. South Africa angling in at scrum time. Gerhard Stennekamp, I believe that was his second or his first scrum, and he's being penalised. Well, not penalised, but free kick against him. Oh, commentator, South African one, said that the Springboks clearly won that hit. Might have got a little bit unlucky there. Kicking it downfield. Upper Lelefasi claims it just outside of the Springboks 22. Oh, he's been taken out late. So that will be wherever this ball lands, or at least it should have been the penalty, I felt, for the South Africans. Now looking to find the gap here. Salman Murat. Let's do well in the tackle. There is the advantage now to Argentina, passing out wide. Mateo Carreras. One more pass. Goes to Juan Matan Gonzalez. An elusive loose forward. 40 metres from the line. Argentina, little short ball. Oviedo, he's put it down, but they'll go back for the original penalty in favour of the Argentines. And come on, the Bok, says the bang there. And the ref is trying to cost us the game, says Ethan. And also we have got there, come on, says Andreas. And we will win by 2 points, go the Bok, says Mervyn. This one's going to be about 53 metres out, so I think it would be a little bit too far for the kicking attempt. Definitely because the last time that we saw the kick attempted, it went slightly to the side. So stressful, says J Squad, and what a kick, says Eldom there. Or Edom, I should say. Now Santiago Carreras just looking for the mark. Anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for this match. We have got plenty more coming in the future as well. Rugby Championship next week. July Internationals also going to be taking place on the channel. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. The kick downfield from Santiago Carreras gets them into a great position on the field now. And Argentinian fans really starting to rally behind their side. They feel like there's a late chance because if they score a try and convert now, that might be game over. And that would also give them the bonus point win, to stop the Springboks from getting that bonus point, which would make the game next week that much more important. But now, Julian Montoya to throw this ball in, stolen by the big man Etzebeth. In a moment where it mattered, the tied most capped Springbok has stepped up and got the ball back for the Springboks. Now, Jaden Hendrikse kicks it high, gets it into touch. It will only be about 15 metres out from the line, but that will put a little bit more pressure on this Argentinian lineout of Ignacio Ruiz. A big bad Eben does it again, although now he has to do it very closely behind what he just did. Time at the moment is 75 minutes through this game. So there is still time left, whereas Quagga, we've seen him a little bit, but really hasn't had that big moment, so perhaps that is around the corner for Quagga Smith. Evan Etzebeth watching closely. Oh, okay, Christoph Ridley just telling the Springboks off a little bit, saying they closed the gap a bit too much there. How many minutes left? Still the 5. Bad kick, Hendrikse says Anoye. He needed a little bit more pressure to be relieved, but wasn't able to do that. And Puma's taking it hard to these world champs. Says Henny. Going to be thrown in. That gap is once again closed. Overthrown and picked up by Quagga Smith. I think that gap closed even more than it was for the first line out. But now Jaden Hendrikse goes to Mani Libok, who once again will kick for the height. Trying to play the territory game beautifully. Taken on the wing, but Jesse Krill wallops Santiago Carreras into touch. He has had a tough game so far. Oh, I think they want to check this one, do they? No, it's going to be the line out for South Africa. Looked like there was a bit of confusion there. Looks like there might be another change just about to take place. South Africa should have taken the 3 instead of kicking for touch, says Farid. Pass down to the wing spot, come on, says J Squad, but a big shot coming in from Jesse Krill. Nicely taken by the Springboks. They have still got time to win this game. 4 minutes left. They are inside of their own half, 40 metres out from their try line. Jan Hendrik Wessels hanging on to this one at the back. They have been told to use it, so he breaks off here. The big man, Hendrik Wessels, tackle well. Argentina almost on the ball, but he pulls out of it. Didn't want to give away that penalty, not at this stage of the match. The last thing you want to do is give away a silly one that then costs you the game. Mani Libok once again will send this ball high. Jesse Krill chasing after it. Doesn't line it up, but it's knocked on by Argentina. Oh, and they've claimed it. That is a risky one there for the Pumas. If I was them, I wouldn't have even grabbed that ball because South Africa, if you can get rid of that advantage, like every time we've gone to a scrum pretty much, that is where South Africa have got a majority of their points. So I think this will be very similar in that case. But 3 minutes left now on the clock. I will once again mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated. You all being here for these matches. We have got plenty more coming on the channel, including next week. We have to see a rematch of these two sides. It's going to be an epic one when they do go head to head. But now it's going to be the scrum. This is the chance for South Africa to take the lead if they win the scrum penalty, although the last one, there's another scrum reset. It's going to use up a little bit more time on the clock. It's going to be intense. Going right down to the wire. My nerves are completely shot, says Springbok replay zone. What's happening in this game, says Sean Weber. It's just been all-out pace. In a game that has been played in extremely hot conditions, you wouldn't have thought it the way that both of these sides have played. Push hard, Springbok says GC. Or JC, I should say. How close to the line? They are still probably about 40 metres out. Maybe 38. So it would still be a relatively challenging kick for Mani Libok. But it would be possible. That is, first of all, though, they have to win the scrum penalty for that to be a reality. But now, Jaden Hendrickse to feed the ball, and it's gone down. Oh, I thought he gave a free kick, but no, we're going to have another scrum reset. This one's going to go right down to the end of this game. Drop goal, I think they're too far out for the drop goal attempt. Definitely in a situation like this, they would much rather win that penalty advantage and then have the chance. But I can see what's going to happen here. Marnie Libok is going to get either a match-winning kick or he's going to miss a match-winning kick in the very near future. And I wouldn't want to be that man taking it, that is for sure. But now, Jaden Hendrickse to put the ball in again. The scrum has taken up 2 minutes so far. Now getting ready, Jaden Hendrickse. Can he get it right? His job's pretty easy. He's just got to put the ball in. It's his front row, and the rest of the fullback has gone down. The ball is available, so no advantage at the moment for the Springboks. Lukanyoam tackle well, trying to milk the penalty. Jaden Hendrickse has done it. He's managed to milk it like it's a cow. And now the Springboks, they will look to use up as much time as they can. In fact, they're going to go for the drop kick. Kurtley Arendse, that is definitely not the connection that he was after, but this is now going to be the penalty to the Springboks. 80 seconds remaining. So theoretically, I don't think he can use up enough. Oh, he might be able to actually. Time is off now. So there will still be one last play. I mean, Christoph Ridley asked for time off. The clock is still going. But it's going to be the penalty there. Jaden Hendrickse, he knew what he was doing there. Decent effort to roll away from the Argentine, to be fair in that scenario. It was just more of the case of Hendrickse. He knew how important that penalty was going to be. And now Marnie Libok has the chance to win the game for the Springboks, ladies and gentlemen, if he gets this kick over. There will still be enough time for one last play, though. Rassi looks stressed. He has just said something into his headset, and now he's walked away to the back of the room. Marnie Libok, can he be a hero? Or will he feel like zero after this kick? It's not the easiest one, about 35 out on the angle. It will not be the last play of the game. There is still time for one more. Marnie Libok, though, lines up the kick. He's absolutely shanked it. And that is missed from Marnie Libok. And Rassi looks nervous. The bench looks shocked. And there's still time. 50 seconds though. This game is not over. He may have to do it again in a minute's time. But now Argentina, they have got the chance of a drop kick. They will look for whoever has the longest boot and send that as far downfield as you physically can. Gonna be kicked by Thomas Albanoz, risking it all. Bit of a miscommunication at the back. Jasper Visa, though, charges straight forward. We are past the full time of 80 minutes now, ladies and gentlemen. The Springboks in the red zone. 40 metres out from their own line. Hendrickse goes back to Marnie Libok. Jesse Creel decides to hang on to it, not wanting to take too many risks here for the Boks. A drop ball would end this game. Marnie Libok passes across. Rough pass to Upper Lelefasi, who is now being tackled. This is intense. This is for the number one spot in the world to stay for the South Africans. Jan Hendrik Wessels. Now Hendrickse goes across, inside ball. Marnie Libok isolates Creel. Hendrickse again, cross to Gerhard Stennekamp. They are still too far out from the line to be able to take any sort of penalty or drop kick. Libok goes across to Lukanyoam. 40 metres from their own line here. The Pumas defending with everything they've got. Jan Hendrik Wessels taken down low. Hendrickse goes back into the pocket. Libok finds Creel. Once again hangs on to it. That was a little high, and it might be the penalty advantage to the Springboks. They have not got it yet, though. Argentina over the ball, and they win the game. The Pumas beating the Springboks in Argentina by 1 point, the same famous margin that the Boks have had so many times in the last little while. But Argentina, they have lost their last 8 against the Springboks. I believe it was Julian Montoya who got over the ball. Carreras kicks it into touch, and Argentina still have a hope and a chance of winning the Rugby Championship. But a historic win for the Argentines. The Springboks are in shock. I feel bad for Marnie Libok. Once again, sadly, he has had that big moment at the end of the game to either win it or lose it, and he hasn't got the kick over Argentina. They have fought valiantly. We've got to remember, they were down by 17 points at one stage in this game to come back and win it by 29 points to 28. I'm sorry if my voice sounded awful at the end there. Had pretty much nothing left in the vocal box. But what a performance by the Argentines. Libok is a legend, not his fault. Says, it was there. It also we good there. We win some, we lose some. Leave money alone. Says Vindiwi. And Rasi took the wrong team. Says Justin. And also we have got there, yes, Pumas, yes. But we've got to remember, there was also an earlier three-pointer that the Springboks turned down. Earlier on in the half, they didn't decide to go for the three, instead kicked for the corner. They took the risk. They didn't get the reward. There's also been a lot of moments throughout this game that could have determined this outcome. And I feel like the Springboks, they'll just want to be better when they head into South Africa next week. But the Rugby Championship is still on for young and old, ladies and gentlemen. If the South Africans lose in South Africa by 8 points to Argentina next week, Argentina will lift the Rugby Championship. It was better if Evan kicked. Says Clinton, box a week and we'll lose again next week. And shame on Rassi. Says Rogan, amazing commentary, mate. A really first class and engaging. Says Andreas, and Libok is a legend. Says a Jake there, and never lose in South Africa, says Bavani. But yeah, Argentina, they have broken an 8-match losing streak up against the South Africans. That is also the third time in the last 10 that they have managed to get themselves a win while leading at halftime. And from 17 points up, where'd that go? That went very, very quickly. From 17, no, I can't even find it anymore. That's how quick the chat is going at the moment. Anyone who's new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is so greatly appreciated. You all being here for this contest. We are going to be back next week for more of the Rugby Championship. Videos all throughout the week about the Springboks and the All Blacks in terms of their selections as they move towards that next contest as well. But 29-28, it was a high-scoring game. Both of these sides, they had some really good moments, like I mentioned. I think for the Springboks, their defense was something that did let them down a little bit throughout this performance. Argentina, they had passion throughout. Their discipline was very strong, but then at scrum time, they were getting dominated. Julio Montoya, he is happy as can be at the moment. Libok is in a box for all congratulations, Argentina. Now we win box next week again. I should mention, this now means at the end of this week, Ireland are now ranked number 1 in the world in the world rankings. But South Africa, I believe they can take it back next week. I think if they win by a large margin, might be the way. In fact, no, they should be able to take it back next week, because if they're in second, then that will give them more of a boost. We have got the amazing commentary game, which says Mikkel. Knows it's a loud try, says Eric. Not that I can think of. We had that yellow card of Kurtli Arnse earlier on in the game. Once again, great comms, Hamish, the best on YouTube to do it, brother, says War 1. Hey, you called a good game, Hamish, thanks, mate, says Aaron Smith in there as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are going to have our post-match review coming out in a very short moment, so be sure to check that out. And also the videos all throughout the week leading into next weekend. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe like I mentioned. And I will see you all for the next one.